take a chance and we stumble and we fall. We gon' rise 1,000 times. You got me jumping up and down, running back and forth. My heart is racing on. Think of you at every morn. You got me jumping up and down, running back and forth. My heart is racing on. Think of you at every morn. I'll climb the highest mountain and swim across the seas. Yeah, yeah. Journey through the desert till I find my way to you, you, you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Future Esports YouTube channel for something slightly different tonight. 20 of the best drivers on the F1 22 game, but by the end, they will be split down to just one, 19 free lappers. Welcome to the Future Esports Knockout event. My name is Luke Etheridge. Joining me in the commentary box tonight is Joshua Davis. And Joshua, something very different for us and something very different for the drivers to cope with as well.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Future Esports YouTube channel. Yeah, something a little bit different. 3 laps of knockout racing. Last does get relegated, if you like, or gets knocked out of the competition. So it's always going to be very, very interesting. A lot of high-speed racing is going to be happening. A lot of high-speed moves that's going to have to be made as well. So you're going to have to be looking at some real wheel-to-wheel racing all the time. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, most of the drivers are used to the normal short qualifying and then a 50% race after that one, but a little bit different, a little bit more of a quicker racing, a little bit more of some urgency, if you like. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun one and can't wait to get started.
Yeah, definitely can't wait to get started. If you're wondering how things are going to work, we've got a bit of a track randomizer, for want of a better term, that is going to pick each of the 19 tracks that the drivers will be racing on. The only track we're guaranteed not to see tonight is Monaco, because with it also being random grids, pretty much at Monaco, if you were starting at the back, you're going to have some big trouble. So drivers can't really prepare too much for what tracks they're going to be racing on. I mean, it's solid chance, probably about an 80% chance if you pick one specific track, we will be racing on that. And you're probably wondering, everyone watching at home, who are the drivers going to be tonight? So we're going to quickly run you through the list of everyone who is going to be racing tonight. So for Mercedes, we're going to have Istvan Pukki and Jack West. For the Red Bull team, we're going to have Tom Manley and Andre Molnar. For Ferrari, we are going to have Nardi Perez and Vadim Svetkov. McLaren, Chanakinci and Andrei Tarabukin. In the Alpine, Christophe Schaller and Simon Perrinier. AlphaTauri, Sergio Sabrino and Oscar Villacampa. In the Aston Martin, Mick Levchich and Modesto Mena. Williams, we've got Jeffrey Ritchie, Caden Lurt. Alfa Romeo, Harlan Marquis, Carter Londe. Haas, we're not 100% sure whether Vincent Nyquist will be making it tonight, but we can guarantee we have got Jan Halladej. Some very, very fast names there, Josh. Some who have, got good experience in the Challengers and quite a few development drivers for esports as well. So should be an extremely competitive evening. You can't really pick any favourites from that list.
No, definitely not. They're all of these guys really, really close in pace with one another. Probably the main standouts are your development drivers like Chanakinci, Harlan Marquis, and Carter from McLaren and Alfa Romeo. But it's a very mixed grid, So there's a lot of opportunities for all these guys to get up the field. And if any of these guys really get knocked out, it's going to be mega unfortunate because all these guys are absolutely quick on their day. So it's definitely going to be interesting how that's going to play out. Probably the main favorites, as we said, the development drivers, and also the sort of the stars of the rising stars, if you like, Jack West and Tom Manley. Those two really been repping it up over in other leagues and other competitions, alongside Christoph Seller as well. Obviously, a Challengers driver in 2021, came P3 in that one. Simon Perroni as well, a championship winner in many other competitions. Primoz Miklovic, Caden Lutt, Jeffrey Ritchie. There's so many drivers they can just pick out, and they can definitely deliver on their day. So it's going to be tight, but one has to go. And at the end of the day, they're going to have to be on their game or not on their game. And it's going to be decided within 3 laps. And if you can't get it done in 3 laps, then you're going to have to get it done in quite a quick time.
Yeah, I mean, three lappers. If we're talking about Austria, you're probably somewhere about 3 minutes 15, and the race is going to be over. Belgium, you're going to be in an award the 5 minute more points, but it is going to be extremely fast. It is going to be extremely furious. They don't have the weather to worry about, so that is one thing. It is going to be fixed dry weather for every single circuit, but they do have damage to worry about. So it's interesting how you play this, because if you started at the back, in a normal situation, you're thinking, right, just be careful on the first few laps, wait until DRS gets activated. You're only going to have, at best, 1 lap of DRS. On some circuits, because of where the detection point is, you're going to have no laps of DRS. So, interested to see how everyone plays this, and also plays things with setups as well, because you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go quite aggressive. You can't, you're not going to think about tire saving or anything. Basically, could see drivers pretty much running with time trial setups for these races.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys run very, very low wings and very, very aggressive tires as well. You're not going to be wanting to try and save the tires near the end of the race. You're not going to be thinking about that pit stop. You're going to be thinking of how to drive quick, how to drive very, very quickly and make those overtakes count. You can't really afford to be diving it in silly positions unless it gets very, very desperate. You're probably going to see most of the racing down at the back of the grid for the battle for 19th and 18th. You might not really see it for the lead. You're going to see it down there, because that is where it really, really matters. Apart from when we get to the final, obviously it's a straight shot 1 versus 1. But yeah, you're going to see those really, really aggressive setups, and you're going to see those really, really quick times. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of the fastest laps we see might be a qualifying time at best in the real thing. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting couple of races that we will have, 18, 19 races that we will have from our grid. But yeah, whenever we will get into the race, it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, certainly. Shouldn't be too long before we are getting underway. I think a few drivers are just having to switch from various builds, of course, with switching from that esport build. Can confirm that Vincent Nyquist is not going to be here tonight, so that's one less. That's one less driver. So we are down to 19 already. So we should only really have 18 races that we're going through, and we are going to have a bit of a treat for everyone when it comes to the finale as well. So make sure to check that one out. Let us know in the chat anyone that you think in particular is going to be any favourites tonight, anyone that you're expected to do well. And like you said, Josh, it is going to be interesting where if you are in the lead of the race, all you're going to be thinking of is, right, let's just keep it nice and clean. Let's not do anything. Let's not do anything silly. Obviously, it's those further back that have just got to launch things into the first corners.
Yeah, definitely. If you're in the lead, then you're probably going to be thinking, I'm not going to battle too hard here. I'm just going to let people go. And if they want to go ahead, that's fine. I'm going to qualify anyway. So, as I said, you're going to be seeing those battles, really, really hard battles between 18th and 19th. You're not really going to see them at the top of the field. So, if you are leading the race, chances are 3 lap race, unless you do something absolutely drastic, the chances are you are going to qualify. You don't really necessarily have to be the quickest guy here to qualify, but you just to be the smartest, if you like. But obviously, if you get to the 18th, 19th position, you really are in the danger zone of elimination. So you're going to have to make those count. You're going to have to get your elbows out, and you have to get a little bit dirty. So get your elbows dirty a little bit, I guess. But yeah, the top guys, top 10, really, you're going to be seeing a little bit more safer racing down to about maybe 12th, down to all the way to the back of the field. You're going to see a little bit more risky racing, but I'm sure they're going to keep it all on the track, and it's all going to be okay. And you're going to see some really, really good overtakes.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to want to be there or thereabouts with the front of each race. You don't want to get into that stressful situation, I think, of nearly getting eliminated every single time, because at some point we see it in real life when they do sports like this, when they do elimination races, for example, in track cycling. If you're always close to getting eliminated, at some point you are going to get caught out. At some point, you're not going to be able to make it all the way through. Should only be a couple more minutes before we get underway. Definitely looking forward to seeing how people react as well, because we're used to everyone having loads of practice. We're used to people knowing where you're going around. Drivers have been confirming in the chat they've not even got setups for every single one of these circuits, so that'll be a fun one to see as well. How drivers cope, because by now I'd imagine most of them have got some sort of setup for every single track, but we could see a few trying to knock things together at the last minute, which is probably where you're more likely to see some mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, not it's a very very new game. We're only into about four-ish months of it, so obviously you're gonna have a few setups. You're gonna be probably having maybe 14, 15, as that's how usually an average calendar works in league racing. But if the chosen race and you don't have a setup for that race, you're a little bit snookered if you like, because you're gonna be very very slow either way, and you are running that risk of elimination. So you have to be careful, and you really just gonna have to pretty much give a little bit of a guess. Obviously, it's a spin the wheel we're gonna have for the track, so it's gonna be pretty much a complete guess. There's no bias, there's no rigging towards it. You're gonna have to literally just take it out of the hat. And if you are correct, then happy days. You're going to be going into that race a little bit better than you were a couple of seconds ago. So it's just a massive lottery, to be honest, of the setup. So you're going to have to get it right. And maybe if you have to run a default setup, you have to be a little bit more aggressive than you would like. So you're going to have to see how that plays out. And obviously, without the setups, as we said, we're a little bit snookered, and it's going to be at least a good 5/10 a lap, maybe even more without a setup.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how drivers go in terms of how hard they push. Do you go 100% all the way through? But I imagine if you're at the back, you've got no choice. But if you're at the front, do you just maybe save a tenth or two and think, look, all I need to do here is keep it clean. It doesn't matter. If I win the first 17 races and finish in second place, I'm finishing second overall in the event here. So drivers have definitely got to be smart about how they think things, and smart about how they approach things. We've already said they've got to get used to all the different tracks that what they are going to be doing. I believe we're not too far away from finding out which circuit we're going to be racing on first, ladies and gentlemen, which should be exciting to see. As the track randomizer gets its way on the screen, we are going to be at Brazil. Used to seeing that towards the end of the season, but it's going to be the first race here. Used to be towards the front of the F1 calendar. I always enjoy real races. I always enjoy league races around Brazil, so not a bad place to start.
Yeah, you love Brazil, really. Everyone really likes Brazil. So a lot of the fan favorite. The fans are always amazing in real life. The drivers have always been absolutely spectacular. So it's one of those classics. There's a lot of overtaking opportunities. You can go through turn one, turn two, turn three, pretty much try and go for a move everywhere if you're really brave enough. Maybe not too brave to turn three, thinking of 2021 in real life, but surely we won't have any of that today. But yeah, Brazil, going to be a very, very good race. 3-lap dash towards the end, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes, and hopefully everyone keeps it clean and everyone tries to get into a qualifying position.
Yeah, very short circuit as well. One of the shortest permanent tracks on the calendar. Normally a 71 lap race in real life. First sector and final sector, all about straight line speed. The middle sector is the tight and twisty stuff where normally you don't do an overtake or don't even see anyone attempt an overtake unless there is a massive tyre differential. I get a funny feeling that could change today. I get a funny feeling we are going to see drivers pretty much just going for it wherever they want. Like you said, there are a few places where it's quite difficult around here, and there's definitely been some drama here over many years. But again, they're not going to have to worry about the weather. That is going to be perfectly fine. And we've got to wait and see what the random grid order is going to be as well, because that could definitely cause some problems. I think, if anything, being in the middle might be just as dangerous as being at the back, because you sort of get that concertina effect in towards turn number one, of course.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting how everyone plays it off the grid. You know, if you're in the middle, normal league racing, you're going to be in a little bit of a rut to see what happens in front of you. You're going to get that Constantino effect at the back as well. So, and obviously, running with damage, you're really going to have to be extremely careful. Front wing damage might be the decision whether you stay in the competition or you get eliminated. So it's interesting where everything will go with that, and you're really going to have to hope you're near the front of the grid rather than the back of the grid as usual. But in the midfield, maybe around 6th, 7th, or 8th, you're looking a little bit decent to try and stay up at least, unless you have something Constantina up in front of you or behind you, really. But yeah, anything lower than that, you're gonna have to maybe try and put your foot a little bit harder on your right hand side. But we'll see how it goes, and hopefully won't be too long until we get things started and we can try and see the real thing and how it will line up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm just trying to think if I've commentated on any of these guys around Brazil, and I think I have quite a few of them. And like I said, they're normally quite dramatic races, but it's normally all about the strategy. It's normally all about just keeping things nice and clean in the first stages, where it is fairly easy normally to get penalties. I'll be surprised if we see anyone manage to pick up a penalty in what is going to be such a short time tonight. And again, another incentive to be careful because of how quick the events are going through. There's going to be no stewarding, so we've got to try and get that out of the way as soon as possible. We're waiting for the lights to come on here then. As you can see, we're just loading into the lobby, and there won't be any formation laps, so it shouldn't be long before we are on the way. 5 lights are on. Bit of a pause there, but they go out and we are underway. You can see Istvan Pukki at the back of the grid. We've lost Tom Manley already, unfortunately, but they're underway. All seems to be nice and clean. On the run down towards turn number 1. Pukki trying to squeeze his way past for 2. Alpine's there. It's Sabrino Tarabukin. Manley's car up ahead, so he has managed to get back into the lobby. For him, Istvan Pukki already making some moves, and it's now Simon Perignier, driver at risk at the back of the field. We'll see if we can do anything in Sector 2.
Yeah, definitely so. Pretty clean start from all of them there. Perigny now at the back of the order. He's got a lot to do in front of him. He's got Pukki. Andrei Molnar just been relegated down to 16th as well. Wrestling with Nadi Perez. Yellow flags in front. Who is that? Not quite sure. It's Jan Haladej at the back, and that could be it for the Haas man, the only Haas man in the field. He's had a spin. Might have been a little bit of a collision, but he is going to have to push really, really hard. And look at this. Almost 4-5 wide going into the hairpin. It's absolute madness at the start of this race. Everyone battling for position out of the final couple of corners. Into June, shall we go? Nadi Perez round the outside. I believe that is Oscar Villacampa. He's now at the back of the field. And already Jan Haladej have caught up with all this battling. Sabrino leading the way with the fastest lap.
I mean, all they had to do was keep it clean once Jan Haladej had his troubles. All they had to do was be nice and calm, and they've not managed to do that. So that has caused all sorts of chaos. We've got Villacampa at the back of the field. Haladej and Molina in their own little battle. Oh, contact! Contact there. Villacampa's gone round. I think Pukki's off the circuit as well. Molina facing the wrong direction. We'll see if he's able to get going again, but it looks like it is going to be Mercedes versus Red Bull at the back of the field at the moment. One of those drivers is going to be in big, big trouble later on. And I get the feeling with no front wing, it's going to be game over already for Istvan Pukki. Surely if you're Molnar, you just got to make sure you get through cleanly here. But Pukki is going to be driving the widest Mercedes that you've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And already you can see him defending massively on Andrei Molnar without a front wing. You're really going to have to do so and to try and avoid elimination. But there goes Molnar inevitably going through into P17. And I think that is it for Istvan Pukki. I'm afraid without that front wing, it's going to be impossible to keep up with the Red Bull. And obviously, he doesn't really want to risk in the pit lane just to make sure if there is anything that happens to Molnar in the next few runs, then it's going to be okay. Nadi Perez, however, trying to close up to Simon Perigny, sorry, a few back at the way as well. That's Tom Manley getting a little bit scruffy as Caden Lutt goes through as well into P7. Castle Indy joins him, the Alfa Romeo development driver as well. Does he want to try anything on Caden Lutt? Not quite. And Tom Manley losing position after position. He won't care less. He's in P10. He's safe so far and already getting a little bit swallowed up out of the S's. Lucky to not bin it. But there we go. He's going to stay in that P10 spot for a little while longer. We've got Harlan Marquis just behind another development driver for Alfa Romeo. Simon Perigny losing position to Nadi Perez as well. But all kept it clean near the top of the field with Tarabukin leading the way from Sabrino to Chanakinchi as well, with Jack Rest in P4 with a nice buffer. 0.5 behind Akinchi and about 2.5 in front of Jeffrey Ritchie. Here comes Andrei Tarabukin to start the final lap of the Grand Prix.
Well, yeah, that's going to be it over. Tarabukin takes the victory. Cartalundi's had a moment on the final lap of the race, but looks as though he has just about got away with things. But poor old Istvan Pukki, no front wing for the Hungarian. And I think as soon as that happened, unfortunately, no hope of getting through. He is going to be the first driver to be eliminated then in this knockout event. Still trying to work out one of the drivers. There's all sorts of chaos there across the finish line. One of the drivers, unfortunately, looks like they're disconnected before the lobby had managed to get underway, which is a shame for them. Tarabukin, Sabrino, Akinci, we are top three, and it is Istvan Pukki, first man to be eliminated. Yeah, just absolute carnage in the first stages of that race. I mean, Jan Halliday at 1.3 seconds off the back of the field, but with everyone else having their own battles, he was able to get away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. That can definitely happen. We all thought it might have been over for Jan Halliday there. Thankfully, with all the battling that was happening in front, he was able to catch up. But you know what, Brazil, it is quite tight a few of the corners, so it is possible to try and catch up, especially at lap one. If you only lose about 5 seconds, it is still definitely possible. But thankfully for him, he did manage to get up the field. Tarabukin does take the first win of the event with Sergio Sabrino in P2 and Chanakinchi rounding up the podium. Good day for McLaren there, but unfortunately it is Istvan Pukki who has been eliminated from the event. Unfortunate for him, just caught in a few incidences of his own, lost his front wing, and that was it as we move on to round 2 in a few moments' time.
Yeah, move on to round 2 for a few moments' time. There's a few drivers here in the Discord chat having the having the debate here. What we were thinking in commentary: how much do you start pushing when you're not at the back of the field? And it seems a few were saying, "Bro, just relax," and others are going, "No, we're just going to fully go for it." It was Vadim Svetkov, unfortunately, who had the connection issue, so we've lost him as well. And Istvan Pukki bringing us down to just 17 drivers. Finding out there that Tom Manley had a few connection issues at the start of that, ended up using a default setup. Thankfully for him, with the random grid, he was right up there at the front. Otherwise, things could have been a lot more difficult for him. It's certainly safe to say. But yeah, interesting race, and I think pretty much what we expected. The sensible thing to do would be not to battle unless you're at the back of the field. But these drivers are just enjoying themselves, and they're just too competitive to let that happen. So don't be surprised if we see a bit more carnage throughout the remaining, I believe now, if my maths is correct, I believe the remaining 16 races.
Yeah, I do think so as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 16, 17 races left to go there. So still a lot more time for a lot of these guys to show their worth in this one. So we're going to get ready to go in round 2 in a few moments' time. But yeah, down to 17, and the stakes get a little bit more higher for those at the bottom half of the field. And obviously, it was Andre Tarabukin, I think, who won that race there. So good start for him. Hopefully, he can try and keep it up in the second one. Obviously, with the random grid, it's going to be a little bit interesting. But we're about to get ready to unveil the round 2.
Yeah, unveiling round 2. We found out actually there's been a change because he used the reset to track. Andre Molnar has been eliminated then, so Istvan Pukki gets a bit of a reprieve there as we wait and see what the randomizer is going to do. Obviously, no Brazil, no Mexico, but no Mexico, no Monaco. Sorry, we are on Mexico at the moment as we wait for that wheel to go round, and we'll see which circuit we are going to be on next. And it looks like, I imagine after Monaco, this is the one a lot of drivers might have wanted to avoid. Singapore. It's very possibly going to be the longest race of the night, even though it is only even though they are only 3 lappers. This is, this could be interesting.
Yeah, definitely so. Singapore, yeah, average street circuit, very, very tight. Not many overtaking opportunities. And I wonder if we do see a huge pile up into turn 1 as well. Everyone trying to go for it. They're probably your best bet if you want to try and stay in the competition. If you are sat in 17th, you're really going to have to try and dive that down the inside into turn 1 if you want any chance of getting through. But there is still a lot of overtaking opportunities down into lap 2, lap 3. You know, you've got the straightaway just before sector 2, and obviously just after the Anderson Bridge as well. That's probably it, to be honest. But it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how the drivers will fair share about that one, but we'll wait and see how they'll get on in that one. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. And as you said, probably will be one of the longest we'll have all day.
Yeah, interesting that you mentioned Singapore overtaking opportunities because it got leaked and then it got officially announced. It's going to be a slightly different track layout at Singapore next year. So in the 3rd sector, a lot less of the 90-degree street circuit corners. Means you don't go under the grandstand, but because of redevelopments, there's going to be a longer flat out section. I believe it's coming out of 14 and 15. It's going to be flat out all the way skipping what was 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, which of course next year should be more overtaking action by the time we get to the real F1 race, which will be fantastic to see because as we saw this year, especially in the damp conditions when there was no DRS, overtaking around Singapore can be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, definitely. So it's always really going to be difficult in any street circuit you really go to. It's probably one of my favorite street circuits just because I like the nature of it being at night, and just the nature of Singapore has always been really appealing to me. But yeah, it's obviously to improve overtaking. That's always really good in the long term. Obviously, making that flat out will always improve higher speed racing and higher overtaking opportunities. But yeah, as you said, this season's Singapore race didn't see a lot of opportunities, especially in the wet. You're going to see those longer races and very, very frequent safety cars, which we did see as well. But was exciting nevertheless. Obviously, a few of the big boys getting crashed out there, but we are about to get ready for the one in esports. So let's have a look and see what happens in these 3 laps.
Yeah, we'll have a look and see what happens here in this 3-lapper race. Completely random grid again. It's Jack West and Oscar Villacampa at risk at the back of the grid. Caden Lutton, Modesto Mena at the front. Lights go off. And we're underway here for race number 2. Who will finish in 17th place? Who will be the unlucky one as Jack West here? Almost going 4 wide in towards turn 1 there. Villacampa's been sort of squeezed out. There's a few cars having to take to the runoff area, but it is Caden Lutton Mena leading at the front of the field, and Oscar Villacampa trying to battle here with Jack West and Harlan Marquis. Prigamos Miklavcic getting involved in that as they take the run for the first time down Raffles Boulevard towards the end of the grid. Miklavcic and Marquis are going side by side here, and Jack West might be best just waiting behind and seeing what's happening, but no, dives it down the inside there. Goes Jack West, and this could open the door for Oscar Villacampa. Down the inside he goes, and this is where it's going to get very tight, very twisted, and you wouldn't be surprised if some carbon fibre goes flying.
Yeah, definitely so. It was a very good initial start, though, from the Welsh runner Jack West, and already having a look on Miklavcic as well. Villacampa looking racy, as always, at the back of that field. Yellow flags. It's Perigno, it's Tom Manley. Oh, a huge crash, and Manley's out. And that is it for Tom Manley already. A huge crash on the Anderson Bridge. And that is Tom Manley out of this one already after the first lap.
Well. And Harlan Marquis, probably the luckiest man alive, because he went straight into the side of Manley's car there. Very high pace, very high speed. Thankfully for him, it didn't send him into retirement as well. But Tom Manley, well, unfortunately, that's the end of that one. We said it was going to be one of the longest. It's been incredibly short in the end because he is already out of this. And if you're everyone else now, I'd imagine you're just going to keep things fairly clean. And I say that, Jeffrey Ritchie's gone round at the underneath the bridge at, I believe, turn number 18 and 19. And Marquis having to slam the brakes on to avoid making contact. They're all finding this incredibly hard. And we're seeing a lot of spins, which I think is probably down to what we were saying earlier. They're not using race setups. They're going to be using qualifying time trial setups here.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, Jack West getting a little bit wide out of 2, but he does get the slip back on Oscar Villacampa. More yellow flags. I believe that might be Ritchie. Yes, it is. 2-second time penalty for a collision with Marquis, so something a little bit iffy has happened there. Here comes Jack West, though, having a look on the racing line of Villacampa. Does he hold it down the inside? Does he AlphaTauri? No, he doesn't. He's going to let Jack West have that one for the time being. Very beautiful move around the outside of Villacampa. Still there, just not given enough room to try and hang it around the outside. He's going to have to set up for P14. Jack West up into P13, trying to defend as much as he can for this position. A little bit for pride, if you like, he is. They are all through at this point in time from Tom Manley's crash. More yellow flags further up the field, and it's all a little bit chaos at the moment.
Yeah, I think Ritchie and Marquis have had their own little, have been having their own little ding-dongs. That's why you saw that 2-second penalty. And yeah, just such a shame for, well, Marquis just seems to be at the end of everyone else's accidents there. Very close with, obviously, Tom Manley. Got some damage for that. And then Ritchie had his own spin. And with no ghosting being on, Marquis having to slam on the brakes coming out of that stadium section then. But it is Caden Lott leading this race. Modesto Mena in second place. We're just seeing Nardi Perez go round at the moment. DRS is going to be activated. Are we going to see anyone go for moves down Raffles Boulevard in towards turn number 1? And they'll be able to use for DRS as well. Also on the run down towards turn number 13 once they come off of the Anderson Bridge. But it is Lutz, Mena, Seller leading at the moment as Sergio Sabrino I mean, this is something we're going to have to watch out for. It might only be a short race, but it is still possible to get 2-second time penalties, and that may cause people trouble, especially later on when there's fewer cars, so there's less likely to be as many incidents.
Yeah, definitely. So those time penalties are definitely going to be interesting into this one. As once again, these two are inseparable today. Jack West and Oscar Villacampa side by side. Once again, Villacampa will have the benefit of the DRS. Breaks very, very late. West is still going to hold it down that inside. They're so close. Villacampa just getting a little bit iffy on the curb. Does survive. Jack West with a beautiful move around the outside to hold it there. The traction benefited him better. And Jack West with a beautiful move, but Villacampa not done yet this time. He is a little bit defeated into the left-hander, but Jack West really on it today. And already around the outside, that's so close, with West making a little bit of an error. And that is West still holding on, but Villacampa holding it down the inside. They're inseparable all the time. West versus Villacampa side by side. It's been amazing to watch so far.
Yeah, it's been fantastic between the two of them, and they've managed to keep it clean as well. And it is Jack West who looks to have just come out on top on that one. But at the front of the field, it is going to be Mr. Caden Lutz. He got driver of the day on the last one. He wins the second race here. They are all safely through. And we already knew on lap number 1 which one we believe was going to be going out. We've got Villacampa and West still going at it at the moment, completely burnt their batteries out here. Have the two of them. West and Villacampa are going to come home in 13th and 14th place, and it is going to be just Jack West who takes it through. Villacampa just about making it across the finish line there. Jeffrey Ritchie will come home ahead of Harlan Marquis, but we are hearing Jeffrey might just be in a bit of trouble for a sideswipe on Harlan, so that could be him disqualified, and that could be Tom Manley getting a bit of a reprieve there. But Caden Lutz at the top, Maynham in second, Christoph Scheller in third place. West and Villacampa providing plenty of action for us all.
Yeah, definitely. So Jack West starting at the back of the grid and really making those moves very, very well indeed. And was given the benefit of driver of the day there, and probably rightfully deserved. But yeah, that was the end of round 2. It is Caden Lutz who wins that one. 2 winners in 2 different races there, and they are all through the top of the board. I'm not sure who will be eliminated for that one, as a few incidences might have been noted by a few, but we'll have to wait and see at the end of that one. But we move on to round 3 in a few moments' time. It is Caden Lutz who takes the victory in the Williams.
Yeah, we've had two absolutely completely different circuits there. So yeah, be interested to see what we get for round number 3 at the moment. You've got to feel, if he does get eliminated in the end, which I'd say there's a pretty strong chance of it happening, you've got to feel sorry for Tom Manley. Just lost it on the curb. So easy to do at that part of the circuit, and then got collected by other cars, and that was game over for him. Which is what we said about starting in the middle of the field. It could be a bit risky on that first lap.
Yeah, definitely can. You have to be so careful on a street circuit to make sure you don't have anything drastic happen to you. And Tom Manley, who is definitely up there to probably be one to win this whole thing, as unfortunately might have lost the chance to do so with that crash. But it can happen to everyone. Unfortunately, it does happen, and it is one of those things about Grand Prix racing. But hopefully, he might have to learn from that mistake in a few times in the future. But move on to round number 3 there, and that could be a completely different race. It will be a completely different race, and we might see another different winner, hopefully, in this one.
Yeah, and you can see the combination on the screen there. It's not gone well for Red Bull at the moment. We've had 2 races, and in both of them, we have lost the Red Bull candidate. So it is Tom Manley, the man formerly known as Shadow. He's going to be out in this one, and we have, therefore, got 16 drivers remaining later on. So, yeah, going to be intriguing scenes here. Obviously, with a random grid, we've had completely different people at the front. It's still amazing me how hard everyone seems to be fighting on their way in towards turn number 1.
Yeah, definitely so. No one trying to back out moves. No one taking it very, very cautiously. Everyone wants that pride to try and get the victory in. So you always love to see that. Obviously, you can't really tell a racing driver to calm down on a racetrack. They're never going to calm down on a racetrack. They want to be trying to fighting for that win, whether it be pointless or not. But We move on to round number 3 in a few moments' time. Unfortunately for Red Bull, that is it for them. Tom Manley did get eliminated out of that one, and we're about to see who will be hosting round number 3.
Yeah, we are about to say who could be hosting round number 3. Then perhaps the wheel of misfortune, depending on what circuit we end up on. And as if we've not had enough nighttime street circuit chaos for the last 10 minutes, we're going to be going around Saudi Arabia, the circuit with the most corners in Formula One. Now, this is going to be an intriguing one, just with the way the two DRS zones work, obviously, in towards the last corner and then coming out of the last corner. It's going to be a straight drag race towards the line, I think. That decides a lot of positions in this race.
Yeah, definitely so. Saudi Arabia is probably the only street circuit where pretty much every corner you can have a little bit of a go. It's pretty much fully flat out for about the whole of the race, which is always really, really good to see. It's personally I quite like watching it in the esports races. Obviously, real life has been a little bit iffy, but it's always nice to see those fully flat out circuits getting used and being used well. But probably maybe a few favorites for a lot of these guys. I know a few guys do preferably like this track fairly much, so might be a little bit happy to see them go through, and I'm sure a few of the leagues have also used it in their calendar, so a few of them probably will have the setups on as well, but we'll wait and see how everyone will turn out in a few moments' time.
Yeah, we will wait and see. Let us know in the chat anyone you think is going to be heading out in this one. I realise it's a bold call with Random Grid to make that decision at the moment, but it's going to be interesting to see. This is such a circuit about just pure bravery. You've got to have that confidence in the car. You've got to have that confidence in the setup. Otherwise, you're never really going to do well around here. You've got to throw it and just hope that the car grips and doesn't go into the walls. I imagine driving it in real life is 50% absolutely fantastic and 50% absolutely fearing for your life.
Yeah, probably so. That's probably about right. Because you're really going to have to chuck it through those corners where you don't really want to chuck it, especially in real life. You're probably on scarce end of knocking it into the wall, and that will be it. But thankfully, in the sim, we don't have to worry about that. You can push the car as much as you like. I'm sure the guys, maybe at the top, will not be pushing it as so hard, but we have seen a few moves here and there already in these past few sessions, but I'll have to wait and see how it goes. A few different winners that will be happening. We're about to get underway for round number 3.
Yeah, and Josh, why don't you take us through the start of this one?
Okay then, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights on. Saudi Arabia, it's Marquis at the back, red turns to green. We're underway for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Marquis at the back, followed by Tara Bukin, and already Marquis having a sensational start off the lights and diving it down. Everyone at the start of this one, there's a little bit of contact all the way through. It's now Tara Bukin at the back, but Marquis getting a good start off the lights into P15 already, with Crystal Sella into P14. A little few moments there. Svampuki losing a few positions in P9. Tara Bukin has everything to do now. The race winner from Brazil has got everything to do, sat behind Harlan Marquis, and he's got everything to do in these next 2.5 laps in towards turn number 7, I believe, of the left-hander. He's about 4 tenths back on the Alfa Romeo now as Chanakinchi, his teammate, gets in front of Nadi Perez there, side by side. You can see then 1/10 separating them all, the two, and Chanakinchi getting the job done, but Andrei Tarabukin looking a little bit lackluster at that start.
He's looking very understeery as well for that long left-bank left-hander at turn number 13. I wonder if he's got a tiny bit of damage on that car, and if there's one circuit you do not want any damage, it is this one. He did get very close to the back of Harlan Marquis. I think Jack West, he's had quite a bit of fun in this race as well, and he's having some now on the way down towards the final corner, turn number 27. West and Marquis seem to have been at the back of a lot of races at the moment. Down the inside goes the young Brit, and he's now going to have a drag race with Christoph Scheller as Marquis and Tarabukin gets it extremely close to the wall then, and Mercedes Power versus Alpine, all equal performance cars though. It's all about the drivers, it's all about their setup changes. Down the inside goes Jack West. Scheller trying to hold this one off, and it is going to be a battle that runs and runs, and I think Scheller has just about managed to get ahead, and that has just allowed the tiny gap that had built up between Marquis, Tarabukin and the rest of the pack. That little battling has just shrunk it down a tiny bit.
Yeah, definitely so. Tarabukin is being helped, well, he's being really helped out by this battle in between West and Seller. There, Seller says, "No, you don't, Mr. West." And Harlan Marquis maybe wants a little bit of a sniff of this action as the Ferrari going very, very wide, and Marquis going very, very wide as well, which might sense a little bit of a tingle for Andre Tarabukin at the back of the field so far, into the right and on towards the left, onto the curve, getting very, very close. Nardi Perez getting extremely close to the wall there, and Christoph Seller might be having a look and a little bit of a sniff on the Ferrari here, but Nardi Perez having pretty decent straight line speed compared to that Alpine, as you can see, and just way more committed in towards the corners. So it might be a little bit more good news for Stella there. Here comes Tarabukin, 3/10 at the back of Harlan Marquis, with Jack West in P14 at the moment. Right now is safe, but for how much longer? He's now at risk, as that's a huge move from Marquis, and that might have cost him elimination or qualification. That was a huge risk for Marquis, and now he's got 1 lap to try and find it. He's got 1 lap to try and make 1 position count.
Yeah, that was bold from Marquis. Oh, Jack West got a 2-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits. Now he is in big, big trouble, because he's got to gain a second on Harlan Marquis on the rest of this lap. We'll see if anyone else gets any penalties, but yeah, what looked like a big mistake from Harlan. He might now just about get away with yellow flag in sector 1. That's Primoz Miklavčić, who's gone round and off the circuit. That could be another saviour for Jack West, and Miklavčić a long way at the back of the field all of a sudden. We'll wait and see whether he has got any damage, but that could save West, that could save Marquis. Nardi Perez having a moment. He has got off the circuit, and that's Miklavčić out of the race. We know our next 15.
Yeah, that has absolutely been a miracle from West and Harlan Marquis there. Marquis having a look for glory down the inside of West at the final corner. It didn't happen out, and Tarabukin got the job done, but Miklavčić just having that crash has saved West, who did get that 2-second penalty as well. That has saved him from qualification or relegation, and now they are all safe. Our top 15 is there on your screen. It's the last lap showing Jan Haladej having a last lap dunge on Sergio Sobrino. It's going to be a drag race to the line, side by side. Who's going to take it? It's Sobrino by the barest of all margins, 12 thousandths of a second between Sobrino and Haladej. 3 different winners in 3 races. That was so tight near the end.
Yeah, it was. And again, it's, people unfortunately just getting themselves involved in incidents, or being involved in someone else's incidents. That seems to have been the downfall. We had Pookie and his damage earlier on, got away with it because of Oscar getting that disqualification. Tom Manley retiring in that one. And then Primoz Miklavčić, whether he had his own accident or whether he retired out of frustration, because it wouldn't surprise me if he picked up damage, and it was a long way off the back of the field. But it is Sergio Sobrino who takes the victory in that one by 12 thousandths of a second. I'm beginning to wish that Saudi Arabia had been our last track, because it certainly would have been a fascinating race to watch 2 drivers going side by side around there. Sobrino comfortably through in that one, and we know the driver who is going to be heading out. Primoz Miklavčić is out, leaving us down to just 15 drivers remaining. And Jack West probably breathing a sigh of relief after getting that 2-second time penalty for exceeding track limits.
Yeah, definitely so. If Miklavčić didn't crash into the wall there, that was him sailing out of the competition. And twice he's been near the back of the field. It's just so unlucky with the randomization of the grid there. So hopefully he gets a little bit more of luck heading up the field in these next few races. But have to wait and see how it goes. Sergio Sobrino takes the win in that one, 3rd different winner in 3 races. Jan Haladej missing out by 12 thousandths of a second on the straightaway. Did have a look down that inside and pretty much got it done. But Sobrino, with the better traction and the better straight line speed, got the job done in the end. We move on to round 4 of this one.
Yeah, we do move on to round number 4, and you can just see there that coming up, Primoz Miklavčić. Unfortunately, the cookie has crumbled in that one. He is out of this, and we are, we're 5 drivers down, 15 more remaining, as we remain to be seen what circuits we're heading up next. Obviously, as the grids are getting smaller, less likely you are going to get perhaps these incidents earlier on. I imagine they'll all be begging that we don't get Azerbaijan now, or Miami. They're the only, I think they're the only other 2 proper street circuits that the drivers could get, and we certainly know the sort of fun we could see at Baku, or perhaps even at Miami.
Yeah, definitely so. Miami probably being the worst track on the calendar, in my opinion. Not a lot of overtaking opportunities. Not very favourable with a lot of the fans. But there we go. Baku, probably not too bad. There are a few overtaking opportunities. Probably the biggest street circuit on the calendar to say there. But it's not too bad at all. Probably not as bad as Miami. I think there are guys out there probably wouldn't be too bad with Baku. But we'll wait and see how that will go in round 4, as we'll should be coming up in a few moments' time. But yeah, it's been a definitely interesting one so far as we head to round 4.
Yeah, I think we are just waiting for the lobby to get set up. And as we say that, the Wheel of Fortune appears once more. Wait and see which circuit we end up with this time around. I mean, technically, it does definitely go on some streets. So, you know, we've got another tight and twisty one. Not as tight as twisty as it once was, of course. They did change the track layouts. We are going around Albert Park. I really enjoy this track layout, but I've still got muscle memory on, I think it's track number 6, which used to be a lot sharper. Every time I've played it around here, I break a lot earlier than you need to do, and I end up sending some poor soul into the back of me. Shouldn't be a problem for these guys, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these guys probably have a little bit more muscle memory than us commentators, but we'll see how they get on with that one. A few races that have happened, so they might have a few time trial setups up their sleeve that they can use. But yes, it's not too bad of a circuit. It's been on the calendar for quite some time in real life F1. Obviously, newest changes coming to this one. Personally, I do prefer the old layout, but that's because I prefer the old times of F1. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes with everyone. But as we go into the race in a few moments' time, but Albert Park, not too bad. A few overtaking opportunities here and there, maybe down into turn 3 if you get a good launch into 1 and 2. But maybe a few instances might occur later on.
Yeah, just trying to think. They're only going to get the DRS once around here, and it's going to be as they headed towards the final sector, those reprofiled corners there coming out of the fast chicane, which we all know, that old 10-11 chicane, I'm going to be honest, it does escape me whether it's still turns number 10 and 11 now that they have remade the track layout. But that fast left-right chicane always seems to cause trouble. And we saw that in real life, of course. We saw Carlos Sainz get it wrong through there, through what is now turns number 9 and 10 chicane as they start the final sector. As we mentioned, the only time they're going to get the DRS is in towards turn 11. So that's possibly going to be the best overtaking opportunity if you're at the back of the field. And I wonder if he is at the back, Harlan Marquis might just be a bit more careful. That move into turn number 27 on lap number 2 so nearly cost him last time around.
Yeah, it definitely did. Marquis is very, very lucky to get away with that one. We'll see how he does at Australia as we move over to it now.
Yeah, moving over to this one, waiting for the 5 lights to come on. We're down to 15 drivers. Poor Jack West at the back of the grid once again. But the 5 lights are on, and it's Scheller and Perronier, the 2 Alpines, leading us away. Big wheel spin there from Caden Lott. A disastrous start from him. That might just open up the door. West into the back of Lott. He's going to be in big trouble for the rest of this race. But it is Scheller leading, Perronier in second, Perez in third. Sabrino here, you can see there, Jack West trying to force the door open, way too late on the brakes there. Not quite sure who's come off worst out of that one, but that's completely split the field apart, and that is Pookie, Lutz, and Sabrino. We're going to find this quite difficult now, but let's not forget, Jack West has big damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were really thinking there. Surely got to understand that there's a little bit slower on that first lap coming into it. I think that's Jack West with huge front wing damage. If I see there, yeah, it is Jack West with massive front wing damage, and that could be the end to his career in this event. But it is Sello leading away, but for how much longer as Perigny does get past him there, just in front. Chanakinchi in P6 as well, trying to battle with Richie as Caden Lutt having a look on Sabrino as well. Not going to happen that time around. And Istvan Pookie getting caught up as well in this battle. As you can see there, Jack West trying to defend. He forces his teammate onto the grass a little bit, and that is going to send him a little bit off the line. And now Caden Lutt at the back of this train. Perigny with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It's all happening between 12th, 13th, 14th, and P15, as we knew it was. As that's evening, Caden Lutt really hunting down all these guys, and Jack West defending as hard as he can, as if his life depends on it, to try and get through. As Caden Lutt having a look on Istvan Pookie.
I mean, his life does depend on it. If he wants to stay in this event, he has got to drive the widest Mercedes this side of Brisbane, and he's really doing well at the moment here. Of course, Melbourne, Albert Park is, Caden Lott. Oh, we've got a spinner, Sabrino's out of the race. It's another retirement. Sergio Sabrino is out of this race. Istvan Pukki is able to carry on. I think that was just a concertina effect. Jack West obviously having to drive slower. Everyone goes into the back of everyone else. And poor Sergio Sabrino is stuck in the middle of it. He is out of the race on lap number 2.
Wow, that was pretty interesting tactics there from Jack West. Did go slow, obviously he has to on that front wing, but probably
Yeah, we've got some battling further back there. That's
so unfortunate.
Yeah, sorry about that, Josh. You just cut out slightly on my end.
Hopefully everything can hear me now. Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a screen freeze on me as well. I'm not sure what happened there. Hopefully everyone can still hear me as Modestri Mena going for a little bit of excursion off the track. But yeah, Sergio Sabrino, so unlucky. The race winner from last time is eliminated this time around.
Yeah, so just shows no matter how well it goes for you in one race, you are going to find yourself in a bit of trouble later on. The gods were not kind to him as Christoph Schaller. Let's not forget, he started at the front of the field. He's finding himself all the way down in ninth place. Caden Lott now has managed to get the overtake done on Jack West. I imagine now Jack's being a bit more compliant in letting cars overtake him after what happened earlier on. But here comes Carter Lundy trying to get past Jeffrey Ritchie at the moment. Ritchie's got a penalty, and if I was Carter, he was one of the drivers saying just keep nice and careful. A bit of contact between the two of them. Ritchie's got some front wing damage. You do not want to be on the curb at that part of the circuit. Carter Lundy has to yield, and here comes Bader, here comes Scheller, here comes Harlan Marquis. Comes basically a third of the pack trying to make the moves, and Scheller loses out on that one. There's contact between the two Alfa Romeos, the Aston Martin and Modesto Maida, just about managing to get through unscathed. And while all of this is happening at the front of the field, Simon Perrier is going to round the final corner, cross the line and take the victory. Nardi Perez in second, Chana Kinchi in third. All of these, as long as they don't crash, should be safe for the next race. And it is going to be Sergio Sabrino who is out of this one.
Yeah, Sabrino is out and eliminated. Jack West extremely lucky to be still staying in this competition with that major front wing damage, which, as we said, driving the widest Mercedes you have ever seen there, and is lucky to still be in the competition. Sergio Sabrino has been eliminated, and we're down to 14 going into round number 5. But a very interesting one. Once again, a different winner in round number 4 there. So we move into round number 5. We'll have to wait and see how we will fare going in towards the next one.
Yeah, we'll all have to wait and see how things fare. I mean, Simon Perrier, he takes the win in that one, but we all know that could mean absolutely nothing next time around, as the drivers are having a debate who pushed who into who there. And I think that all started in turn number 1. Jack West got a bit deep on the brakes, trying to make some moves, and then made contact with someone else, broke his front wing, and vigorous defending. In the end, everyone sort of came together, and Sergio Sabrino is out of the race in that one, as you can see from there. Jeffrey Ritchie picking up another penalty, having started in 4th place. It'll be interesting if we could try and find out what happened to himself and Christoph Scheller. I think this is the first race where we've really seen drivers that have started near the front, without being involved in any major incidents, somehow dropping down towards the back.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as we said, yeah, Christoph Scheller started on pole position, finished down in P9. So he's definitely taken a more of a casual route in that one, more taking a little bit of a calmer route, which is probably the right way to go about it, really. You want to try and stay in this competition as long as possible. If you're in P9 with a 15-man grid, then you're still in there. You know, there's not really a points gap that you have to try and abide to. You're staying through nevertheless. So it's good tactic there from Christoph Scheller. You don't really necessarily have to win the race. You just have to stay alive and stay in the competition and don't come last. So it's interesting how everyone will take this one. But Scheller stay in this competition for one more round, and we'll wait and see what the next round will come.
Yeah, we wait and see who it is, who it's going to be. So, as we know, as you saw on your screen briefly there, Sergio Sabrino is out. So we're down to just 14 drivers here remaining. And we said it last time. This time, I think everyone will have their fingers crossed for a bit more of a track where you can get some racing done. And On that one, it was really all from turn number one. We sort of had that split in the field. Jack getting a bit of damage, went a bit deep into turn number three. We were seeing drivers try to get 3 or 4 wide, and it was, I believe, Pookie West in the two Mercedes. And then further back, we saw Sabrina, who ended up getting eliminated, and Caden Lott, who himself was also involved in a bit of carnage. And it is going to be Abu Dhabi. That is going to be the next circuit. Of course, vastly different to how it was a few years ago. Big fan of the changes that they've made here at Abu Dhabi. Let's make overtaking that a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. So that new sort of spoon corner, if you like, at the left hand, and obviously you go straight on into sector one instead of that sort of Mickey Mouse left right hander that you had before there. So obviously overtaking a little bit more better throughout that one. A lot of people weren't too favourable with the odd layout, so we made a few changes and probably very helpful with overtaking, as we said. I personally like the changes as well, but see how the drivers fare with the changes. Personal favourite of mine as well on the calendar. Do quite like going to Abu Dhabi as usual. Obviously, usually the last race on the calendar, clear out night race. You'd love to see it dusk till around about midnight if you like, with how the sky turns out. But yeah, definitely a good race to go around to, and we'll wait and see who comes with victor and who will stay in this competition and who will be knocked out.
Yeah, we will indeed. We've had completely different winners. Normally, we actually, for I think more reasons of bad luck rather than everything else, we've had the same drivers tending to be there or thereabouts at the back of the field. But yeah, we'll see how things go at Abu Dhabi. Not a long run down towards turn number one. So unless you have a disastrous start, you shouldn't be in too much pressure on the run down towards the first corner. That hairpin, which used to have the little fiddling Mickey Mouse chicane before it, is where you're going to see the first attempts, I think, for everyone to make the moves. And 2 DRS zones that the drivers are going to be able to use, both with separate detection points, which is not that common. Normally, like Australia, we didn't get to see it. They have the 2 DRS zones, one after the other, but they're on the same detection point. Here, they're different ones. So if you get overtaken into the chicane at 6 and 7, you can fight back into that slightly banked turn number 9. And then in the final sector, could be incredibly tight indeed.
Yeah, definitely. So we're about to get ready to go for Abu Dhabi. The lights will come on now. It's Halliday at the back of the field. Jack West now into P4. Luckily enough for him, he's now at the front of the field. The lights go out and we're racing once again. Halliday did get a little bit of a better start compared to Isfan Pookie there. About equal. They head into one. Pookie trying it down the inside. Oh no, Halliday trying it down the inside of Pookie there. Does not get the job done. And Isfan Pookie still remaining in P13. A huge crash at the start. It's Chana Kinchi and Nardi Perez there is already Escovilla Camper as well. Marquis, huge crashes at the start, and luckily enough for both drivers, no big damages, but Nardi Perez now 3 seconds back on Chana Kinchi. That might be it. A huge crash between the two of them as they were both sent spinning.
Oh, and Pookie's got into the back of Modesto Maynard as well, so he's going to have some front wing damage from that, which I think is going to be the only saviour for Nardi Perez. That is a very harsh 2-second time penalty for Modesto Maynard. He was basically pushed across that corner there. But yeah, Perez has got a lot more front wing damage than Akinci, and I feel he's got more than Pookie. So barring any more dramas for the drivers, I think the Spaniard is going to be in trouble. Here we are then, on board with Jan Halliday. He started in 11th, sort of, managed to keep it clean at the start, got away with things because of the dramas for other drivers as Tarabukin and Maynard are having their own battles further back. Sabrino leaving the session, obviously, after his exit last time around, and I think Nardi Perez has had some more troubles here as there is a car going way off circuit there. Harlan Marquis goes extremely wide. Scheller, West, Perigny are leading. Barring any other incidents, I think it's game over for Perez.
Yeah, 13 seconds back now, I think. Well, safe to say that is Nardi Perez who is knocked out of this session. Tarabukin, though, having a beautiful line on Harlan Marquis there, diving it down the inside. And there you go. There goes Harlan Marquis into P8, and so does Modesto Mena, bustling his way out of Marquis' way there into P8. As Oscar Villacampa, I think, having a little bit of an excursion off the lights there, as also Harlan Marquis trying to get back at Modesto Mena into P8. Can he hold it around the outside is the question. Big braking as someone locked up there. Yes, it is. I think that is Oscar Villacampa. No, sorry. Thought he had a little bit of spin there from contact with Mena. Didn't look like to do so. And Manestra Mena really lacking on that straight line speed. And you can see just the speed as well from Marquis off that Alfa Romeo. Brilliant to see how quick he is in that straight line as Jan Haliday having a look on Chanakinchi as well. Huge crash. And that is Manestra Mena spun round and lucky not to be smacked into the wall there. And that is Manestra Mena round, and also Jeffrey Ritchie in P12. He's lost it as well. And that might just bring Nardi Perez a little bit closer together, but he's still 20 seconds-ish back on the pair of them.
Yeah, we'll see how much front wing those drivers have got. That could be interesting. As Victor Harlan Marquis, he's got big damage, missing the right end plate, so he's dropping down the field. He knows, though, just keep it nice and clean for the rest of this lap, and you should be fine, but he can't resist a bit of a dive bomb into turn number 1 there, and that allows Jan Haliday to just fight his way through. So it's Mena, Ritchie, and Perez. We know have all got different levels of damage, but it still looks like it is bad news for the Ferrari. 13.5 seconds behind. Thankfully, though, we've not had any DNFs yet in this race, as Jack West, so close to getting eliminated last time, takes the lead using the DRS down this straight. And we'll see whether Scheller tries to fight back into the next corner. We'll see whether Scheller has got any interest whatsoever as trying to fight back. For 2 TF10 drivers, you can see there, Camper and Lundy getting closer. That's Marquis into the back of Jan Haliday, and he's now got front wing damage. Yet they're all having trouble, and it is lucky for them that Perez had his moment on lap 1.
Yeah, definitely so. Everyone having their similar instances, but yeah, thankfully for Nardi Perez, well, thankfully for everyone else, not thankful for Nardi Perez, he's back the field as this gap in front really getting tight for the win there. Sella now in the lead as Chanakinchi has had a minor excursion as well back into P13, but Sella taking the lead back on Jack West in the dying moments, and it's going to be another LP1-2, and it's going to be Simon Parani who takes the victory in Saudi Arabia very, very late on, as Jack West actually losing the podium on the last lap, getting taken out there, I think, at the end into P4. He goes, he is safely through though, but it's Simon Parani, the first driver. It's all chaos at the back. What on earth is happening on the last lap? Nardi Perez is round the final corner. It will not matter as everyone has safely crossed the line, but huge crashes or the near the end, which is not what you really want to see. It is Simon Parani who wins in Abu Dhabi, sorry. He wins there, and he becomes the first driver to win 2 races in the knockout event.
Yeah, not bad whatsoever. Just keeping it nice and clean at the front of the field. I think we can definitely say that wasn't the case further back. Quite a few dramas, and I can't imagine too many people are going to be happy about that one. All seem to start pretty innocently at the back. I think Akinci and Perez, don't know whether they got tangled together. Don't know, one of them lost it on the curb, which, you know, coming around turns number 2 and 3, especially now with the lower Formula 1 cars with the ground effect, is quite a lot easier to do. But 2 Alpines doing very well this time around, and it is Simon Pernier up towards the top again. Christoph Scheller further there as well. I reckon about half the field getting damage in that one. Pernier wins, Scheller second, Caden Lutt in third, West, Villacampa, Lundy, Halliday, Chipuki, Tarabuki, Marquis, Akinci, Ritchie and Mena will be the drivers through. And next out, Nardi Perez after that incident on lap number 1.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Nardi Perez. He is the 5th, 6th driver out of this session and out of this event. Manestra Mena, very, very lucky to be still staying out there. As you can see there, there goes Nardi Perez, and Ferrari are now down to 0 drivers. They are out of this one. So 14 drivers left to go. And into round number 5, 6 we go into this one. And it should still be a very, very interesting contest with a lot very, very top drivers still left in the competition.
Yeah, I was wondering whether things would get cleaner as the number of drivers started to reduce, but I think that was the race that had the most carnage of everyone. We definitely saw some rather interesting interpretations, I think, of the track limits there, so not too surprising to see a few different drivers getting some penalties. The segments are getting bigger, the tracks are going down, and we wait and see what the next circuit is going to be, folks, and we can tell you it is going to be a very tight, a very twisty one. One of the toughest circuits to make any overtakes on this game. It is Zandvoort. It is the Netherlands.
Yeah, Dutch Grand Prix, obviously been dominated by Max Verstappen in real life 2021 and 2022. But yeah, very, very interesting one, to say the least. A very, very historic circuit back in the day in near the 50s, 60s as well, with that massive banking at the final corner. Really overtaking opportunity is probably down into turn one, so you're really gonna have to pick your spots very carefully, because that is pretty much the only way you can go. But we'll wait and see how that goes. 13 drivers left on the field. We still have a few more that can cause a few surprises. Will we see another race winner is the question. Perigny is the only one that is only won the 2 races on a bounce.
Yeah, and of course, the guy who won the race before him, Sergio Sabrino, got knocked out the one after. So you never know what is going to happen. As just said, turn number 1, possibly the best overtaking opportunity. I think we're going to see some moves there at the start. Won't see anyone be able to use the DRS there, of course, so because of where the detection point is on the final lap. So the only place we're going to see any DRS possible overtakes are into turn 11 as you head into that stadium section. And I think a corner which is going to be interesting here. I'll be very surprised if we don't see any side-by-side action through the long right-hander at turn number 7. That could get pretty tasty. And this is an old school circuit. It's new to Formula One, but it's been around for 70 plus years, I think, since the first Dutch Grand Prix. Grass and gravel on the edge of the circuit. We won't see drivers taking as many liberties with the track limits this time around, because it is going to cost you big style, and the walls are never too far away.
Yeah, definitely. So they are quite close to Zandvoort. It is a circuit, but it does sort of a street circuit sort of style, as you can see from the tightness. We're about to get ready to go for the Dutch Grand Prix and round number 6.
Yeah, we'll see what the next race has got to do then. 13 drivers, Perigny and Akinci at the back of the field, Halliday and Scheller at the front. 5 lights go on. They go out, and we are underway then for the Dutch Grand Prix. What at the start's like? It seems like Harlan Marquis getting quite a slow getaway there, and Scheller Akinci able to split the difference in between the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo. He goes as his teammate Andrei Tarabukin has had a bit of contact into the first corners, and he finds himself like he was a few races ago at Saudi Arabia, the back of the field. But is Scheller leading, Halliday in second, Jack West in third place, Perigny and Marquis having their own battle, and here comes Tarabukin, pretty much single file at this point of the circuit. Just got to be patient, just got to try and end the gap if one opens.
Yeah, definitely so. Andrew Tarabukin not getting to the start that he really wanted. They've all kept it quite harsh. Well, kept it quite hush so far, but Tarabukin now looking to try and have a look down the inside of Marquis, who gets a little bit iffy out of the right-hander. Tarabukin still about there on the Alfa Romeo, but there goes a huge end from Marquis, and another risky move from the Alfa Romeo, which has sent him spinning, but thankfully can keep it back going as Tarabukin trying to defend with all his might out of the penultimate corner. And it is Marquis now at the back of the field, thankfully still stuck attached to the rear end of Andrei Tarabukin. Christoph Sella with the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Does Marquis want to try anything? He's having a look around the side as Tarabukin defends the inside. A switchback move is made. Yellow flags in front. Who is that? Oh, and that was very close. Caden Lutz having a spin there. I think that was a reset as well. He is at the back of the field and might be sending out of that one, but that was so close between Tarabukin and Marquis, smacking into the back of Caden Lutz.
Yeah, both of them, thankfully, just enough space for them to go either side of the stricken Finnish driver there. So that is Caden Lutz at the back of the field. 2 seconds off. You never know if there's more dramas further up, like we saw in the last race. I wouldn't say it is game over for Lutz yet, but it is going to be extremely difficult. On board then with Oscar Villacampa in the middle of the pack at the moment. There's a bit of a gap between, well, Christoph Scheller has actually escaped at the front of the field. He's 1 second ahead already. So it looks like for the 3rd race in a row, we are going to see an Alpine take a victory. Jan Halliday looking pretty comfortable in 2nd place at the moment. And Perigny and Tarabukin also a bit off the back of the kitchen. That is Villacampa who's gone around, avoids retiring from the race, needs to be careful when he rejoins the track. That is how much this circuit can bite, and surely that is game over for the Spaniard.
Riding on the curb so aggressively there was Villacampa, and it just spat the car out, and round it went. More yellow flags, and that's Harlan Marquis, I think, spinning round as well. He's lost and he's beached the car. He's luckily to get out of that one, but Marquis is out, and Oscar Villacampa has gone off the track as well. It's so close out here. Marquis is now at the back of the field, is being sent out of this one so far, but oh my goodness me, all action on the last lap of this Grand Prix. Sella looks set to win again for the third time in a row for Alpine. For this one, as Catalundi looking very, very sketchy out of the right hand. Marquis 1.5 seconds back on Oscar Villacampa, which has saved Villacampa and has saved Caden Lutt in that one, as Pookie having a look down the inside of Lutt. Not going to happen, but it is Sella who will take the win in Zandvoort for this one.
Yeah, it is going to be Christoph Schaller. He runs the final corner then, and he will take the victory here. Istvan Pukki on the back of Cartalundi. All of them just burning up their battery. Schaller wins. It's a third in a row for Alpine. Hallenedge in second. Maida in third place. And who is going to be the last car across the line? Harlan Marquis is a long way behind. Villacampa staying well off the curb this time. I think he's learned his lesson. Hayden Lott and Oscar Villacampa can count their lucky stars, I think, after that one. Harlan Marquis, in the end, crashes before the finish line, and he is eliminated. He's been close a few times as Harlan to going out. I think in the end, maybe just one too many brave moves was his undoing.
Yeah, definitely. So a few too many aggressive moves for my liking from Harlan Marquis. Saudi Arabia, very, very lucky he was not to be eliminated. Again, in Zandvoort today, just a little bit too unlucky. And this time, his fortune has run out and his luck has run out this one, and he is eliminated at Zandvoort. But it is Christoph Sella who wins this one at Zandvoort. And once again, Alpine making up 3 in a row in this one. Can anyone stop them? Is the question. We'll wait and see as we move on to the next round, down to 12 drivers.
Yeah, down to just 12 drivers now, and I think you saw in that one there was a bit less chaos with drivers having collisions with each other, but they just had their own. They had their own moments. We saw Caden Lutt, get involved in a bit of contact. Actually, Villacampa spinning around on his own accord. So did Harlan Marquis, and actually Oscar Villacampa had already lost it on his own in that one. Scheller, Hallenedge, Maynard with the fastest lap again for Modesto Maynard. He's picked up a few of those tonight. Ritchie, West, and Lundy, they were the top drivers, and we saw those further down who were involved in their own little dramas. Harlan Marquis heading out there. We are down then, I believe, too. Just as we quickly count across the screen. I think we might be down to about 1, 2, 3, 4. Might be down to about 12, 11 or 12 drivers now in this one. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Shouldn't be as less drama this time. A lot of Villacampa. They've got to know they've got away with one there.
Yeah, Villacampa, extremely lucky. Luton Villacampa, as you said, yeah, extremely lucky to not be getting knocked out there. Caden Lutt having that spin, and I think that was a pretty dangerous rejoin as well. Lucky to be not collected by Marquis and Villacampa there, but yeah, extremely lucky to be still staying in this competition there. But move on to the next round in a few moments' time. As you can see there, 2, 4, 6, 8, and I think there might be a little bit of change. Marquis has been unchecked, and it is Caden Lutt who has been eliminated. That might be for resetting to the track.
Yeah, that could well be the case. We'll have to we'll wait and see if we hear anything about that. But Harlan Marquis, well, in the end, we said it was Villacampa that got away with one. In the end, Caden Lutt doesn't get away with it there. He is out of this one, and Harlan Marquis has managed to get his way back into this session, and we'll wait and see what circuit we are going to be on next. Harlan Marquis saved by the, saved there. Not quite sure what he was saved by. We'll see what the wheel has in store for us this time. We've had plenty of street circuits. We've had Brazil, Australia, Zandvoort as well. And next up, it's going to be another classic Formula One circuit, and another one that can be extremely tricky to overtake on. It's going to be Imola, slipstreaming into Tamburello, the name of the game here.
Yeah, pretty much turn 1 into Tamburello. That's the only chance, really. Maybe into out of the Villeneuve chicane as well. Probably has the best opportunity, but yeah, down into Tamburello is your only chance, really, and maybe a few others. But yeah, Tamburello, pretty straightforward. DRS and straight line speed. Well, you don't think you will get DRS into Tamburello, that one. So no DRS will be used in this one. It's going to be still full straight line speed. And I wonder if anyone might try and run 0-0 wings. Remember, that was a thing early doors in the game. But yeah, wait and see how those setups will find out. But it's definitely going to be straight line speed is the game.
Yeah, we've had it confirmed. It was further reset to track there that Caden Lutt managed to, he did that, so that is why he's been disqualified. I thought at one bit Harlan Marquis was going to have to use that escape reset to track because it looked like he was beached on the curb. Cut to Oscar Camper, he's had completely his own incident.
Yeah, definitely. As we both saw very, very interesting moments there as Marcus, yeah, as you said, got beached on the curb, which is now a new thing in this game. You can get beached on towards the curb, and thankfully he could get out of it fairly well. So luckily for his case, he managed to not reset the track, unlike Caden Lutton has been rewarded by staying in the competition. So they're going to have to be really, really careful now, both for the camper and Marquis, so they don't make the same mistakes again, and they're really going to have to try and hope they're a little bit further up the grid, or maybe take a little less risks heading into the future.
Yeah, it's a long run down towards turn number one here, of course, at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. One of the few circuits, actually, the Imola, that has had races under three different names. Had the Italian Grand Prix in 1980, the only time we didn't have Monza as the host of the Italian Grand Prix. Then was the San Marino Grand Prix for just over 25 years, I believe. And obviously, with the pandemic and the shuffled up circuit, we saw the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix return. And now it's got, I think, one of the longest names for any Grand Prix in F1. I think it's like the Made in Italy and Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. I'd try saying it in Italian, but I think I would only butcher it. A bit like Zandvoort, it's an old school circuit. There's grass and gravel there to watch out for, and we saw how that caught some of the drivers out last time around.
Yeah, definitely so. You have to really be very, very, very careful how you play that around here in Milan. Obviously, very, very tight corners. Not a lot of overtaking opportunities. So you have a look down that inside. You have to be 100% sure that you will come out of there unscathed. But yeah, as we saw, Valtteri Bottas and George Russell 2021 had a massive shunt just before Tamburello. It can happen if you get a little bit unlucky and if you squeeze your partner a little bit too much, it can happen to anyone. So you're really going to have to be careful around here and hopefully keep it all fair and share.
Yes, certainly. I think everyone's going to have to just be nice and careful, give each other that racing room into the first couple of chicanes. Tamburello and Villeneuve, really a circuit where we see drivers make a lot of mistakes on. I think Aqua Minerale tends to be that sort of turn 11, 12, 13 complex as you're heading down the hill, tends to be the one where you see drivers getting into a lot of trouble. Of course, all these using no assists and braking and turning around there, just getting it balanced right. Similar to what we see at turn number 10 at Bahrain. We see a lot of drivers just getting it wrong and running wide down there. Thankfully, it is one of the few places that actually has tarmac runoff on this circuit.
Yeah, yeah, there is that one at Aqua Minerale, as you said. So if you do get it catastrophically wrong even, you have a little bit of some time left to try and recorrect it. Obviously, if you do get caught on the grass a little bit, you might be a little bit more unlucky. But yeah, tarmac just on the left-hand side will help for a few rejoins, but hopefully won't be able to be needing them this time around if anyone does make those minor excursions. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Few overtaking opportunities, maybe a few people getting a little bit greedy going down the inside, but you're going to have to really, really make them count if you do want to have a look down that inside.
Yeah, I think just a couple of drivers might be having trouble for whatever reason joining the race at the moment. I don't know whether anyone's been kicked out of the lobby for whatever reason, so it should be a bit of a wait now as we just wait for maybe one or two drivers to reset their PC. Hopefully they're nice and quick, and it shouldn't be too long before we are able to get underway. We've had some drivers that have looked good at the moment. I think it's safe today. Simon Perrinier won 2 races in a row, and even last time when he was starting at the back of the grid, just kept it nice and clean, kept it nice and careful, and was able to make it his way through. We've seen Christoph Scheller, his teammate for tonight, be at the front in a few races as well. But Modesto Mena is one of the few drivers, I think, that's never actually looked in trouble in any of the races. Carter Lundy, another one that's never been that close to the back of the field. So, obviously, a bit of that is luck, but they seem to be doing things right at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think only Meno was really a little bit of danger at Abu Dhabi, but really it was only for like a brief second as he already really crossed the line. So he's been pretty safe as well. Carter Lindy, we haven't really said much about him in these past few races. He's been fairly comfortable sitting around top 5, top near the bottom half of the top 5, really. So he's been doing very, very well as well. So mainly, if you keep it clean, like Lundy and Mena have done, you might see those two in the final after this one. But we'll wait and see how that will all plan out in a few moments' time. Hopefully, whoever it is that has a few troubles logging in, hopefully they can go in as quickly as possible. But we'll wait and see. Hopefully, it won't be too long until this happens. So we'll wait and see how it goes in a few moments' time.
Yeah, we will wait and see. So just a quick reminder of the different dramas that have happened so far tonight as we go through all of the races. Race number one, we thought it was Brazil, Istvan Pukki, who was going to be end up being eliminated. Unfortunately, Vincent Nyquist couldn't join us. Vadim Svetkov as well having issues, but because of a reset to track, it was Andre Molnar who was the first driver to get knocked out tonight. Then we had a bit of a street circuit nighttime fantasies, 2 in a row. Tom Manley being the unfortunate victim, retiring at Singapore, and Primoz Mikhlovcic likewise retiring at Saudi Arabia as well. After that, it was Australia, Sergio Sobrino, in a third race in a row where it was someone retiring who ended up being the driver getting eliminated, having that incident with Istvan Pukki and a few other drivers involved in that one. Then we sort of went away from the street circuits. We went to Abu Dhabi, and after an incident on lap number 1 with Chana Kinchin, Nardi Perez was fighting all against it a long time. He carried on in that race. Fair play to him as well. We wondered if others were going to be in trouble, but we've got 5 lights on, so enough of the recap. Let's get underway, and we are going here. And Carter Lundy, I think he was actually in AI there, but his AI has got an absolutely stonking start at this race. Carter Lundy leads then. Jan Holodej in second place, and it is Perigny, Maynard, Tarabukin, and Akinci at the back of the field, and that is Istvan Pukki, who has to skip over the chicane there and just about gets away with that one. But Lundy leading, Holodej right behind him, and Marquis in third for now. And it is Simon Perigny at the back of the field, going side by side with Modesto Mena as they come into Tosa for the first time. Round the outside, he's trying that one. You're just going to get squeezed off the circuit if you do it there.
Yeah, we were talking about Perigny and Mena being one of the stars of the show so far, and now they're at the back of the field. But Carter Lundy having an absolutely sensational start off the lights, and his Alfa Romeo development teammates of Cup Marquis is second, and a huge crash, and that's West out. West has crashed in a huge crash into Aqua Minerale just before there. A huge accident. Jack West is out of this one, so now it is Jack West who will be eliminated from this race. And we are down to 11. Carter Lundy does lead, but for how much is Marquis? Oh, they've both been sent off the track by each other. And now down to third and fifth. There's Jeffrey Ritchie having a massive moment as well. But Jack West is out of this one, and it's already started.
Yeah, it's already started, and it looks like Jack's not too happy with Jeffrey, so we'll wait and see what has happened there. But it is Scheller in the lead, then Villacampa second, Akinci in third. He was not far from the back of the field not so long ago as Jan Holodej, I think, taking advantage of the fact that there has been a retirement. We got our first pit stop of the night. Marquis thinks about throwing it up the inside of his teammate. I think that is the first time tonight that we have seen Carla Marquis not go for a bit of a dive bomb. Round the outside, he goes on Carter Lundy, who surely must have some sort of damage. Doesn't look as though he is in AI right now. He was able to rejoin the session. But yeah, Lundy able to get away with that one. Holodej in the pits, one of the longest pit lanes, of course, here at Imola. So in normal circumstances, you don't want to be making any more pit stops than you have to. There's Tarabukin all the way on Carter Lundy here. Can he get the move done before? Very anti-batter. Don't want to really be going. Very anti-also, sorry. Don't want to be going side by side through there. And Carter Lundy does yield, and I think he's taking it nice and careful at the moment. Scheller, Akinci, and Villacampa, your top 3. And again, Christoph Scheller has built up a 1-second gap.
Yeah, Scheller has really been the standout performer this whole event. Really been the only one that's pretty much won by over a second, really. I think Abu Dhabi won by over a second, and now looking likely he's going to do it again. Last lap of the Grand Prix. Mena gets the job done into P7. A little bit too far behind Andre Tarabukin to have a look on him, but he will get a little bit more of a lead going into the chicane as Jeffrey Ritchie gets past Harlan Marquis for P4 there. It's all getting really, really tight near the middle of the pack as Jan Holodej at the back of the field, 34 seconds back for Jack West, obviously having a crash, meaning he is out of this one. But a few conversations having him between himself and some others. But we move on to near the end of the sector, and Christoph Scheller looking pretty tidy to be taking this one once again by 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, 1.2 seconds comfortably ahead of Chalakinchi. And yeah, the front three have just been able to escape away at the moment. And Jeffrey Ritchie seems to be a bit of a cork in the bottle. On board with Istvan Pukki. He had to cut across the gravel earlier on, but it is his teammate who is provisionally going to be the driver that gets eliminated. Tarabukin side by side with Harlan Marquis around the outside of Rivatsa. Wasn't going to work, but it is 2 in a row for Christoph Scheller, 4 in a row for Alpine. They're both comfortably through. Akinci, Villacampa, and Marquis and Ritchie haven't been classified as finishing this race. There's been a crash between the two of them before they have reached the finish line. So this is going to be interesting to see how they sort that one out. Harlan Marquis, Jan Halliday, sorry, is going to end up finishing down in 9th place. But yeah, Marquis and Ritchie, they've had a few ding-dongs between them so far in this race, well, this event, and I think it's just starting to boil over now.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a swipe or not from Ritchie, but it seems to just lose control sort of there. I don't know how he lost it though, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't a slight. But Jan Halliday will finish P9. Ritchie will finish P10 with Harlan Marquis 11th. Jack West is finished classified at the back of the grid as he was the one to crash out first. But I still do think it will be Jack West who will be out of this one. Nonetheless, Chalakinchi is your driver of the day. But once again, it is Christoph Scheller who will be taking the win once again.
And we can have it confirmed, Jeffrey Ritchie is out of the session. Jeffrey Ritchie is not going to be taking any further part, and I believe Harlan Marquis and Jack West are actually going to be back in this one. But 4 in a row, we're getting used to seeing the blue and pink of BWT and Alpine on the top step of the podium. Perrinier's done it twice, Scheller's done it twice, and despite starting near the back, Perrinier been able to make it through both times as well. Scheller taking the victory in that one. Chalakinchi in second, and after a big spin at Zandvoort nearly eliminated him, Oscar Villacampa was nice and comfortable in that one, and we are down to just 11 drivers then, and it is going to be Jeffrey Ritchie who gets eliminated in this one. Scheller, Akinci, Villacampa, Tarabukin, Maynard, Pukki, Lundy, Onier, Halliday, Marquis, and West, I believe, are going to be the drivers making it through, and yeah, quite dramatic, that one there at Imola.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it might have been a swipe from Ritchie from Harlan to Harlan Marquis there, but yeah, he has been penalised for that one. So Jack West does survive another day alongside Harlan Marquis. We have your top 11 there, and we will wait and see how it will go out between the next race. So down to 11, we've got 11 rounds left to go, and it is, as you can see on your screen there, is Jeffrey Ritchie out. So both Williams drivers are now out of this one, and we're down to Pukki, West, Akinci, Tarabukin, Scheller, Perigny, Villacampa, Mena, Marquis, Lundy, and Halliday, and this is getting a little bit tasty towards the end.
Yeah, it is. I've managed to... I've seen a clip, actually, of what happened at the end. So you saw Marquis and Ritchie come together. What's happened is, there's no other way of putting it. Ritchie's gone... Jeffrey Ritchie has driven too far to the right. He's hit the pit wall, which has swung him across the left-hand side of the track, and has then slammed him into Harlan Marquis, which took them both out of the race. But I think they're giving that one, obviously, to Jeffrey Ritchie as being his fault, and I don't think you can argue with that. He had a crash with Marquis in Singapore as well, so those drivers getting very close together on multiple occasions. The end result, Jeffrey Ritchie is out of this one, and we are down to just 11 drivers, and yeah, we'll wait and see what circuit we have got to come up next. The Wheel of Fortune going round once more. We're probably going to make it around most of these, but next, it's going to be, just at the last minute, it's going to be Bahrain.
Yeah, Bahrain, the jewel of the desert, if you like, in F1, always a classic on the calendar. Do you like Bahrain? Percy, myself, 11 drivers. Bahrain should be very, very nice and tasty indeed, but see who wins this one. But both Alpine drivers, Christoph Scheller and Simon Perroni, have been absolutely fantastic all the way through the event. I think they've won the last 4 or 5 races so far, so they've been absolutely on it all day so far, and hopefully they can try and keep it going. We never know, we might see them both heading home with the finale on their hands, but wait and see how it goes, and hopefully we won't be holding on too long for the next session.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be too long. So like we said, it is going to be Bahrain, definitely one of the circuits that provides plenty of fascinating overtaking action. 3 DRS zones normally, Again, because of where the detection points are, we're only going to see 2 of those DRS zones active this time on the run up the hill towards turn number 4, where you might remember a few years ago, Lando Norris pulling off a fantastic, almost accidental move around the outside, I believe it was, on Alex Albon. And we've also got that DRS straight coming out of turn number 10 into turn 11. Ordinarily, not the easiest overtaking point, but as we've seen so far tonight, there is nothing that ordinary about this event. There's been drama in every single race, and it is not over until the very end. You never know when someone else could have a bit of an issue, have a bit of a spin. Turn number 13 around here, always a circuit, always a corner that can provide problems if you hit that curb.
Yeah, definitely. So there's pretty much danger everywhere. You're like at Bahrain, a few more overtaking opportunities. Obviously, it is bog standard, normal circuit, racing circuit. Anywhere, a lot of overtaking opportunities, more than a street circuit. But yeah, there are a few massive dangers that you can look through. But we'll see how many dangers there are right about now.
Yeah, we will see. Lights are coming on here then around Bahrain. Under the lights, 5 lights go out. And we're underway. Lundy, Tarabukin, Scheller, Pookie, Maynard, Halliday, West, Villacampa, Perrier, Marquis, and Akinci. And it is already Jack West making some good moves at the start of this race. Harlan Marquis is going to send one down the inside of Akinci and Perrier. And I think Oscar Villacampa almost losing out in that one. And that's a 2-second time penalty for a collision with Villacampa for Jan Akinci. Surely he'll be able to get that one removed because there looked absolutely nothing in that. Oh, Tarabukin leading them through then. And Janakinji past Perrier, past Marquis. He tries to go 3 wide in towards the S's. And Akinji backs out of that one. And I think Perrier also having to back out as well. But on board with Oscar Villacampa as Akinji sends it. And Villacampa is going to say thank you very much. I'll take 2 places.
Yeah, Akinci getting a little bit too greedy down that inside and has been penalised by the back of the field. Oscar Villacampa having a little bit of an excursion, trying to battle with Perigny for P9 there, side by side. Akinci gets boxed in between the 2 of them. Perigny having a look down the inside. Akinci around the outside. Not going to happen. And obviously Akinci with that 2-second penalty looked absolutely nothing in it. Not sure why it was a penalty, but we'll continue. Nevertheless, I think that was Jack West losing a position to Istvan Pukki, or maybe Jan Halliday losing a position to West, P5 or P4. But we'll continue towards the end of lap number 1. On to lap 2 is Andrei Tarabukin, who leads the way. Carlo Lundy in P2, Sella so far in P3, and they've all kept it fairly clean at the start of this one.
Yeah, they have. I can just confirm that Chanakinchi's penalty will be removed. So he's on for elimination at the moment, but purely because he's in last place, not because of anything else. As Perrier and Villacampa battling side by side, the Alpine gets a big wobble on out of turn number 2 and 3, and up the hill they go side by side once more. No DRS this time. They will be able to use it there next time around as Perrier trying to go on the inside. Villacampa tried to hold it, and these 3 battling is just allowing the front 8 to escape, being led at the moment by Tarabukin, Lundy, and Christoph Scheller. And Akinci again dives it down the inside into the hairpin. Again, there's a bit of contact, but he manages to, if anything, make it call. He's out. He's out. Rubbing wheels between the 2 of them, and that is Chan Akinci. And I think, sadly for him, is him going to be eliminated. Didn't see too much wrong with that from Villacampa.
Yeah, a little bit of real rubbing, and Akinci was been the one who was off the end, worse end of that one. And Akinci, I think, again, looking a little bit too aggressive, and that is what can happen. You can just get spun round out of the wall, and that, I think, is probably going to be down to a racing incident there. Just not a lot Villacampa can do. Akinci was the one who wanted to have a look down that inside, wanted to go aggressive, and that was the penalty he did for going a little bit too aggressive. But we move on to the last of the Grand Prix. Tarabukin looking pretty decent so far, but Carlo Lundy is reining in the Russian drivers. He tries to go around the outside. A switch for Carlo Lundy, and having a look down the inside, a little bit of a punt from the back on Tarabukin, but does get away with it. Lundy will have another chance to try and shine. Does he look left or right? Here comes Seller as well, having a look on both of them. Lundy tries to defend with Lundy trying it down the inside and Seller on the outside. It's so close in this one as Perigny gets up into P8 as well. Seller muscles his way past Carter Lundy. Jack West somehow getting a 3-second penalty. Not sure what for, apparently for gaining a place, but it is so tight in here. And Tarabukin moving away with Seller and Lundy battling so hard. And Tarabukin is probably going to be looking to try and get this win in Bahrain.
Yeah, he should be able to get this win. Jack West gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, but with Akinci beaten out, and I think he's pretty much just said, yeah, it's just one of those things that happens on this game. Tyres locked against each other. Not really a lot either of them could do in that one. So Tavabukin, Shala, Lundy, Buki, Maynard, West, Halliday, Pevinier, Marquis, Villacampa, they are going to be the top 10 heading into our final races for tonight. And it is not going to be this time Christoph Schaller getting the victory. Oh, there's contact in the back. That's Weston Halliday, who had a bit of contact. Haas versus Mercedes. Halliday managed as to just about get through on that one, but it is Andrei Tavabukin who takes the victory here in Bahrain. He is safely through, as is everyone else. Jan Halliday has had a spin at the end, so he's going to be the final finisher, but he did finish. Chan Akinci did not, so he is the driver that is out.
Yep, definitely so, and that is your top 10 that will go through to the next one. Halliday, luckily that Chan Akinci did crash out there, so he survives in this one. Simon Perroni is your driver of the day. Started at the back of the field and muscles his way through the field. And Tarabukin, I believe, picks up his first win of the event, which is always nice to see. And McLaren getting the job done as well. But his teammate is now missing for the remainder of this event after his crash. And as we said, I think Chan Akinci said before, it's just a bit of an unfortunate event. Locked wheels. Not a lot either of them could have really done about it, but it is Andrei Tarabukin who gets the job done and takes the win here in Bahrain as we move on to the final 10 in this one.
Yeah, of course, the McLaren racing with that new livery on the game at the moment. Before we've gone back to their normal one, I am missing the yellow at the moment, as the drivers have just been warned not to start in AI. I think because of what happened with Carter Lundy's AI. To be fair, he'd only just rejoined the session at the time, so he had no control over it, and his car shot off the line. I think a few drivers might have got a bit of an idea of what to do, and in a 3-lap race, that is going to be a big unfair advantage. But Akinci provisionally is out of this one, and I'm saying provisionally because we're hearing that it might have been Jack West who started with AI last time around. So unless he's got a reason for that, I think West will be leaving the session.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how that goes. He is streaming, so there is proof if he has or has not. I've just seen a notification that he is. But yeah, it's going to be interesting if Jack did or not. Don't know why you would want to do that, but if you want to try and get that start, then you can if you want to. He was starting farther up the field, so he does have the talent to not do that if he wants to. But it's his decision if he did or not. As a different decision, but we'll have to wait and see what the stewards will think about it. But move on to the top 10, whoever it will be. We'll wait and see how it happens there.
Yeah, and I think seeing as we're heading into the top 10, probably going to be a bit of time while all of this gets sorted out. Again, similar drivers getting towards the front. Tavabukin's another one that, apart from Saudi Arabia, I can't really think of him being in too much trouble. I know he started at the back at Zandvoort, but there was all the drama that happened further back as well. There's just waiting to see what happened here with Jack West, because there has been a clip put in. there's been multiple clips of the same incident put in at the moment of Jack West's start, and we'll see. Yeah, he was definitely paused at the start of the race, so that could be West heading out, I think.
Yeah, he has clicked the pause button. I'm not sure if he wants to resume it as well, but yeah, he has started with AI there, so I think that might see Jack West out of that one, unfortunately. Pretty clear that he has done, and that might see Jack West out of this session there, and Chan Akinci has survived one more race. But we'll wait and see how that one, obviously, provincially, I'm not the one making up the rules. We'll see how that will go with the stewards, but doesn't look good for Jack West, I don't think.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see if this one is what it's going to be at the moment, who is going to be heading out. I mean, we know it's one of two drivers. It is either going to be Chan Akinci after that accident, which, again, I think would be actually quite a lucky reprieve, because lap number one, he went for it into the hairpin, almost made contact, I believe it was, with Simon Perronier. And in the end, that allowed Villacampa to get through. And then the lap after did go for a big move in towards the hairpin. And it's just the way things happen with each other. Just a bit of wheel rubbing, and unfortunately, it sent Akinci off towards the wall.
Yeah, it's interesting how that plays out, but yeah, Chanakinchi obviously probably no one's to blame really, but Chan was a little bit too aggressive out of that one, but we'll wait and see how it will play out. We'll see how that plays out. I think Daniel's just made that rule to say that after this one, no one is allowed to start in AI. So not sure who will be in or who is out. Chanakinchi might be out of this one. Not sure who or who not, as we just see in there. It is, I think, going to be Chanakinchi, as we can see on the board. It is Chanakinchi who is out of this one. So Jack West just survives out of that one. And from now on, no one is allowed to start in AI, and no one is disqualified from the session.
Yeah. Now, the reason why that's happened now is because that was not a thing beforehand, unlike the reset to track rule. But they've been warned about it, so shouldn't be seeing anyone else do that unless they're not streaming the race, and then you're probably not going to be able to prove it. And here's a circuit where you are certainly going to want to get a good start. Mexico, one of the longest runs down towards turn number 1, of course. Again, 3 DRS zones. Stadium section, every single lap is probably going to be carnage, judging by what we've seen so far.
Yeah, definitely so. And I tell you what, people really starting at the back of the field probably are looking a little bit decent. You can get that slipstream going into turn 1. So if you're starting last, 10th and 9th, you might have a pretty decent idea to be getting up the field. And the people who are starting on the front row, first and second, are just going to get swallowed up as it usually has gone. That run down to turn 1 is just so long that it's just almost impossible to keep into the lead into turn 1. But wait and see who gets a good start and who doesn't. But yeah, if you do get that good start off the leads, then you're usually going to see yourself maybe up towards the lead into turn 1. But slipstream is definitely very powerful here in around Mexico.
Yeah, certainly. Even without the DRS, I mean, in real life, it's quite a unique circuit. Mexico City being one of the highest capital cities in the world in terms of altitude, and with the track being there, means that the teams have to run big rear wings around, like massive amounts of downforce normally, just to get at anywhere near acceptable level, which is why you see teams basically racing with Monaco wings and getting Monza levels of top speed. Always a bit of an intriguing one, and one that I'm glad is back on the Formula One calendar. Really looking forward to seeing how. Looking forward to seeing, especially these modern cars around here. I think it's going to be very interesting indeed. That S section is absolutely fantastic to see F1 cars going around there. And it's possibly one where it could cause drivers trouble tonight. I wouldn't be surprised to see the odd penalty in this race.
Yeah, definitely so. It's going to be interesting how that plays out regardless. But yeah, we might see a few penalties start to rise here and there, just getting a little bit too aggressive on the curves, getting a little bit too greedy, trying to cut the corners. If you can cut the corners. It is legal, but if you do it too many times and maybe a little bit too aggressively, then you will find yourself in a little bit of trouble. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. We've got 3 seconds to go until the grid, and we will see who is the winner here in Mexico.
Yeah, we will do, indeed. And then there were 10, but now there's 5 red lights. Perigny, Lundy, Pookie leading, Marquis at the back. Out they go, and we are off here at Mexico City. Underway they go. Simon Perigny then just being overtaken by Carter Lundy, getting a fantastic start as the side-by-side action starts at the back of the field. They're not even slipstreaming. They are just pure side-by-side. Shayla Villacampa. Oh, there's contact there, and Harlan Marquis has to slow down and back out of that one. I think contact between himself, Jack West, and possibly Christoph Scheller, but it is Carter Lundy leading. They've locked together Villacampa and Marquis. That's music to the ears of the rest of the field as those two drop down the back of the order. Here comes Christoph Scheller down the inside of Modesto Mena in towards turn number 4. Then that gives you the outside for turn number 5, and you normally end up getting shoved wide here. So this is going to be, it's going to be very interesting to see how this works between the two of them and which one yields as they go into the Escher. Scheller on the inside, Mena trying to hold it on the outside. Contact between Scheller and Tamabukin. Somehow, everyone else avoids them.
And that was absolutely massive. Villacampa and Marquis live to fight another day. Sella is now at the back of the field. He's been absolutely fantastic this whole event. And now he's at the risk of being eliminated from this session from that contact. Tarabukin is P9, 1.5 seconds clear of Sella so far. It's huge for Sella and for Alpine. We've been absolutely fantastic. Cartalundi is leading this one. Sella's teammate of Perigny is in P2 trying to hunt down Cartalundi. Here comes Pookie having a look on Jan Haladesh as well, diving it down the inside and up into the podium places. He will go. Jack West just holding it into P5 right now again, with Modestro Mena holding back in P6, and it's all a straight line speed so far. And Sella, I think right now, is looking to be going out of this one as we go down to 9. He just needs someone maybe to crash, or maybe just someone or something to just try and find an extra gear to catch up to Tarabukin.
Yeah, I think it was Scheller who was just sort of trying to hold it on the inside of Modesto Mena. They had that Mena managed to hold it around the outside as Jack West making up his own circuit there through the S's, and then contact between Scheller and Tarabukin. So it wouldn't surprise me if Christoph just had a bit of front wing damage. If he can get within DRS range, you know, I wouldn't say it's over at the moment, just with the way the detection point works at this track. I think we might even get detection, you know, DRS on this lap as well, as Harlan Marquis gets a 2-second time penalty. Should, though, be inconsequential. At the front of the field, it is Cartalundi leading, Simon Perigny in second, and we'll wait and see. No, of course, there is no DRS here, but then they're going to have it into turn number 3 either, are they? Because it's the same detection point. So the only place they're going to be able to use DRS is on the run into the stadium section, and it looks like Christoph Scheller might have just about got himself back within range as the two Mercedes getting very close to each other.
Yeah, he's going to need about 5 tenths, 6, 7 tenths on this lap. Christoph Sella, if he wants to try and survive in this event. Cartalundi looks set to be winning this one, but Simon Perigny is pushing him all the way through the corner so far. Lundy just needs to defend his life out into the stadium section, and he is safe for the win so far. As we move over to the final couple of corners, it is Cartalundi getting closer and closer into that victory, but Perigny is closing in as well with the DRS. Is he close enough to have a look? I don't think he is, and I think he's just playing the waiting game. Christoph Sella a little bit too far back, I think. Cartalundi is going to take the win, and Sella, I think, a little bit too far back in this one.
Yeah, he is. No matter how late you are in the brakes, that move is not going to work, unfortunately, for Christoph Scheller. But it is Cartalundi who takes the victory here. Perigny in second, Jack West in third place, Pookie, Haladesh, Mena. Villacampa gets ahead of Marquis because of the penalty. Andre Tarabukin in ninth place. And after looking so good earlier on, just one slight mistake, and it is all over. Contact going into the S's. Christoph Scheller is the 10th driver to be eliminated. We have just 9 remaining, and Cartalundi getting the driver of the day on that one. And I think again it was the start of the race for Card. So we got another fantastic start.
Yeah, definitely so. Carter getting a really good start once again. That's probably a speciality in these races so far. Just gets really good races off the line. We can see that he is rewarded with the win in that one. So move over to 9 remaining drivers, and Cartalundi picks up his first win of the event and goes in with a little bit more comfort going into this one. And I'll tell you what, Cartalundi has been really good so far. He hasn't been causing a lot. Well, he hasn't been in a lot of trouble out the back of the field. He's kept in around the midfield pretty much the whole event. And I wonder if Cartalundi might be the one to be winning this event all the way through.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, in that one, getting the fastest lap as well from the lead of the race is quite a feat around here because of the slipstreaming. So, not bad whatsoever from Lundy. Perigny, West, Pookie, Haladesh, Mena, Villacampa, Marquis, and Tarabukin will be the drivers joining him. And it is Christoph Scheller, another driver who's had wins tonight, another driver who's had success tonight. But you're last at the end of the 3 laps, and it is game over for you. And you can see there are 9 names on screen. That's our remaining. Istvan Pookie, Jack West, Andre Tarabukin, Simon Perigny, Oscar Villacampa, Harlan Marquis, who we thought was eliminated at one bit, but managed to get a reprieve because of Caden Lutz resets the track penalty. Cartalundi and Jan Haladesh. Those are the 9 drivers that are remaining. This is going to be very interesting indeed. Things certainly seem to be getting cleaner in that one. I think it was just a mistake for Scheller and Tarabukin that caused a bit of drama as we wait and see what track we're going to get. Another slipstream fest. It is Monza.
Yeah, Monza, pretty decent track. One of the best tracks on the calendar, in my opinion. Do love a bit of Monza, but yeah, it was pretty clean a Grand Prix from a few of them. Sella just so unlucky with that spin once again, and he has been unfortunately penalised with that elimination. But move in to Monza, and we're getting pretty closer to that finale. 9 drivers left to go. And it's all going a little bit interesting how it is going to play out. Carlo Lundy with that race win under his belt, looking pretty good to be maybe ending up the victor of this event. But there's so many other drivers that can definitely get this one going. We'll wait and see who will come out victorious in Monza.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jeff always says no heroics into Sandoval. I think this is a bit of no heroics into the Rettifilio. Such a heavy braking zone down towards turn number 1, of course. So drivers need to be careful for that one. We could see a lot of polystyrene and maybe bits of carbon fiber flying around here. 9 drivers remaining. So shouldn't be too much drama, as you'd hope. You'd hope that everyone can just keep it nice and careful at the moment as we wait for everything to get underway. And like you said, Carter Lundy looking very good again. But we saw last time, Christoph Scheller, he's looked good all day long. Just got a bit of pressure further back, got dropped down the order, tried to hold it off for Modesto Maynard. That made contact with Tarabukin. And from then on, could not get back within DRS range around a track where slipstreaming is so important.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, if you're going to have an incident around any of these tracks, it's pretty much game over. Obviously, there's so short a lapses, you're really going to be set back a lot of time. But this is definitely important that you don't lose any time around here at Monza, because it will cost you. And with only 9, it's going to be very, very tight.
Yeah, it is. 5 lights on here then. Lundy leading once again. And they go out and we are underway. It's Villacampa at the back of the field here, and we'll see what he can do with the slipstream on the run down towards turn number 1. A fantastic start from Harlan Marquis. He's able to jump Jan Halliday as there's a big gap on the inside there for Villacampa to go for. I think wisely decides not to do it on this time around. Tarabukin's got a bit deep there as he tries to get ahead of Modesto Maynard, and that ended up almost blocking the Alpha Tauri driver who is in last place. But it is Lundy miles ahead of the rest of the field at the moment. Harlan Marquis is in second place. You've got the rest of the pack just following in behind, extremely close together. Jan Halliday all over the back of Simon Perrinier. Oscar Villacampa still not able to get any moves done. I think they all had a bit of a warning. Be careful in towards turn number 1. And in the end, maybe Villacampa was a bit too cautious, because I feel like there was a gap there for him to possibly make a move. But we'll see how it goes, of course. 2.5 laps to go. He is right underneath the rear wing of Andrei Tarabukin.
Absolutely. So Jack West up into P2 as well, and Lundy have an absolutely fantastic start once again and leading by almost just under 2 seconds of Jack West as well. And P2's having a great Grand Prix so far off this first start. Oscar Villacampa at the back of the field really going to have to put his foot down quite aggressively. Wants to try and get past Andrei Tarabukin. Here comes Istvan Pukki with a little bit of a switch on Perigny if he can do. Not quite close enough, and Jan Halliday with a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting and gaining 1 place. Not sure where that was and if it will count or not, but not sure where he cut the corner there, but we'll wait and see. It's a little bit of an instant huge crash there, and it's Harlan Marquis at the back of the field, and one of the Alpines, I think it was Simon Perrinier, who went through the polystyrene boards, gets a 2-second penalty. Harlan Marquis at the back of the field once again, and there is the carnage. And right now, it's seeing Harlan Marquis at the back of the field. Jan Halliday is going slow as well. Not sure what for. Might be damage on that house as well. Perigny with a penalty once again. It's all happening once again.
Yeah, I think it looked like Perrinier got squeezed by someone. Whether it was Jan Halliday who squeezed him, whether Jan's doing the fair thing and waiting up for Harlan Marquis, we'll wait and see. But that seemed to cause all the chaos. Simon now with 5 seconds of penalties. Jan Halliday, I think, with 3 as well. This is going to be, it's possible, unless they get them removed, I'd say it's probable that it is going to be one of those drivers that is heading out. Lundy, 2.5 seconds ahead of West, who is 2.5 seconds ahead of Maynard as well. They have absolutely checked out in that one, and it is that gap. It's behind Maynard. It's where all the drama is happening at the moment. Carter Lundy and Jack West are clear tonight, and it looks like, barring any chaos, they will definitely be 2 of the 8 drivers heading through. Who else will be joining them? Well, we'll see who else is heading out. Andrei Tarabukin in 4th place at the moment, looking like he wants to take the lead of this pack. Does Andrei down the inside? He thinks about it. Not on this occasion. Harlan Marquis, so just broke for slipstream there. Even for him, that was too far behind. It's all about setting it up into the next chicane, I think. But Jan Halliday has got a better exit.
Yeah, definitely so. Hello, Marquis. It's do or die for him on the last lap of the Grand Prix. His teammate Carlo Lundy has a huge lead at the front, 2.5 seconds clear of Jack West, and he is probably going to take back-to-back victories again. A little bit aggressive on the curves for Harlan Marquis. That might have blown his chance to go through. And into the final couple of Lesmos, there goes Oscar Villacampa pushing all the way on Isfan Pookie as well. Goes up into P5. Job done for the Alpha Tauri there. Andre Tarabukin looking Ratio Medestra Mena. He wants that final podium spot, but it's looking like Carla Lundy will take the victory here. Jack West was closing in quite a lot. Just going to be not enough, and Carla Lundy takes his second back-to-back victory in at Italy.
Yeah, it's going to be Cartolande who takes the victory here then. A fantastic, just got the start at the front of the field and was able to drive away. Jack West in second place. Maynard holds on to third place from Tarabukin, who had a big moment coming through Ascari. Quite lucky to get away with that one there. It is going to be, I believe, Perigny who drops down after penalties, but Marquis was the last car across the line, so we'll see any of those penalties do get removed, but it is either Harlan Marquis or Simon Perigny who will be heading out, and that would be, if it is, if we go with the in-game results, ninth place for the Alpine drivers. That's two who've looked very fast today, heading out pretty recently.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what the penalties will look like. Simon Perroni thinks he is the one that is going to be knocked out in this one, which means both Alpines are out of this one. He is last on the field. Depending if the penalties get removed or not is another question. Alpine, who was looking so good midway through this event, suddenly find themselves maybe getting both knocked out of this one. We thought they might be the ones that might be going in to win this one, but right now they're both getting knocked out of the event. We'll wait and see what is going to happen. But right now, it is Simon Perroni who is out of the event.
Yeah, I think it's. I think it all started with that chaos on lap number. It was lap number 2. He got squeezed by someone. Didn't quite see. Can't quite remember who it was. Definitely got squeezed by someone. That caused all sorts of carnage. We saw Harlem going around. We saw Oscar Villacampa having to take to the escape road to try and avoid everything. It's almost as if they thought, right, we've made it through lap 1, nice and safe, and then all hell broke loose as we're hearing Simon Perigny's penalty will be removed. Now, if his gets removed and Hallidage's doesn't, that is Hallidage out of the race. If they both get removed, that is Harlan Marquis's out of the race. So one of 3 drivers is going to be heading out here. I mean, we know someone who is comfortably safe, and it never really looked in doubt for Cartolondi right at the start, just shut away from the start of the field, as easier as you like. And as you said, that is 2 in a row, but we've seen 2 in a row from Perigny, and he could be out, and we've seen 2 in a row from Sella, and he's definitely out. So, past performance is no predictor of future success tonight.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we've just heard that Jan Hallidage's penalty has been removed as well, I think. I'm not quite sure. I think he is. So that might mean Harlan Marquis is out as well. So Harlan Marquis, I think, is out of this one. Yes, he is. Harlan Marquis is out of that one. So only one Alfa Romeo left to go in the session. And that is a little bit unlucky as Harlan just got in that incident and is sent spinning, and he's out of that one as we move on to the next round.
Yeah, we'll see what is going to be the track for the next round, and it is going to be Spain. Is it? Yes, just the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain. A bit like Australia and Abu Dhabi that we've seen earlier on, a track that has had, variations made to it. I'd argue this one, though, it's made the track nicer to drive, but it's probably not made overtaking easier. Making turn number 10 a long, sweeping corner again means it was tough before to overtake around there. Now it's into that corner. It's going to be, extremely difficult, nigh on impossible, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. It's still a chance, but it's a very, very interesting one if you do. You're going to have to be really brave if you do want to try and have a look there. But see if anyone does pull out the moves. Probably best try hanging it around the outside if you do want to defend it down the inside if you want to. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Spain, historic track. It's been mixed emotions. I don't mind it. It's not great. It's not terrible. But yes, it's fun for the drivers. I think a lot of the drivers do like it, especially they do like the changes as well. But Carlo Lindy, so far looking on form and has won the last 2 races. Can he try and make it a hat trick? Is the question. Probably can do if you can try and get a good result once again at Spain.
Yeah, a bit like Mexico as well. It's an extremely long run down towards turn number one. I think we remember Fernando Alonso. He went from fourth to first here at turn number one. I think it was in 2011, and then in 2013 pulled off fantastic moves round the outside of Raikkonen and Hamilton. At turn number three is normally one which is a bit of a tyre killer, but of course they don't have to avoid any of that tonight. Don't have to worry about tyres in these 3-lap races. We've just got to make sure that they keep all 4 wheels on the car. And we've seen that's not necessarily been the easiest thing so far. I mean, just trying to think about some of the drivers that we've got left. Jack West was at the start so close to going out on multiple occasions. In fact, at one bit we thought he was eliminated. And he's now managed to make his way through along with 7 others. He's starting third in this one. It is Perrier, Maynard, West, Lundy, Halliday, Viacampa, Terrabukin, and Pookie at the back of the field. And we're underway again here at Spain. Off on the start and straight away. Simon Perrier trying to defend on the run down towards turn number 1. Istvan Pookie's got the wheel alongside Andre Terrabukin. Into the first corner, needs to be careful on the curves, and it is now Modesto Mena and Simon Perrier side by side at the front of the field as Istvan Pookie tries to find a gap, and that might have just opened it up. Oscar Viacampa has a bit of a moment coming through turn number 3. Down the inside goes Andre Terrabukin into 4. Well, that of course gives Viacampa the inside line for the next corner, and all this fighting might just allow the front drivers to get away.
Yeah, definitely so. Istvan Pookie at the back of the field, just taking it calm, not really going massively aggressive on the start, but he's getting closer up, but riding onto that sausage curb, losing him a lot of time. Terrabukin getting closer and closer to Viacampa as well. Both these 3 have been really close to elimination in the past, and this might be the one where it's either one or the other. Perigny leads 7/10 of a second from Jack West in P2. Modesto Mena in P3. Carlo Lundy so far in P4. Currently doing well so far, and pretty much everyone top 5 over, looking pretty decent. But I think the elimination round is probably going to be between Viacampa, Terrabukin, and Istvan Pookie, inseparable so far as we head on to lap 2.
Yeah, Terrabukin's had a fantastic run out of the final corner here. He's got to just rely on the slipstream and the ERS at the moment, and you can see not using overtakes, so not really bothering with it on this time around. We will get to use the DRS in towards turn number 10, of course, on the final lap, but you've got to be a brave man to make a move around there as Cartolundi and Modesto Mena got pretty close up out at the front. It looks like, barring any accidents, I'd say Perrier and West are fairly safe at the moment. They've built up an 8/10 of a gap lead. Well, Perrier over West and West over Mena. And he's got Lundy, Halliday not too far behind him, and then Viacampa, Terrabukin and Pookie right from the start of the race. These have been the 3 that have been battling with each other, and Pookie's tried a few times to make the move, has not managed to do so yet. He's got to get a bit of a move on, because otherwise in 90 seconds, he could be getting eliminated. And that is a bad exit there from Andre Terrabukin. Pookie down the inside absolutely sends it on Andre Terrabukin. Contact between the 2 of them. And I think we knew he was going to go for that move, and a bit more rubbing between the 2 of them.
Yeah, side by side action. Terrabukin, have a look down the inside. There's more and more contact. Both have been spat off the track. Terrabukin with a switchback move made is not going to get it done. It's Pookie versus Terrabukin for the elimination. Perigny 1.7 seconds clear of the pack. He is safely through and winning this one. They're side by side, Terrabukin and Pookie going into turn 1. Terrabukin momentarily in front, Pookie round the outside, side by side. Pookie runs off the track. There's yellow flags in front. It's West who's round. West is round again. I think there's even more contact. It's West. West has been sent round, not sure how, but he is out of this one, and that has saved Terrabukin and Pookie right there. And oh my goodness me, we thought it might have been Terrabukin and Pookie battling for elimination. Jack West has been sent off the track on the last lap, and Jack West has been eliminated from this round.
Yeah, I think Modesto Mena might have been involved in that one as well, because he's dropped back behind Viacampa and oh, Terrabukin's gone straight on. Terrabukin goes straight on there at turn number 9. Not sure what's happened. Jack West, though, probably just a bit too far behind to take advantage of that one. And I think barring any other last-minute steward interventions, it is going to be Jack West who is heading out, but 3 seconds clear of the entire field as we see Modesto Mena, the one we suspect to have been involved in the contact, possibly, with Jack West, or whether Jack had his own spin and Mena took evasive action. We'll have to wait and see. Perrier wins, Lundy second, Halliday third, Viacampa fourth, Mena in fifth, Pookie sixth, Terrabukin in seventh, And Jack West is out. He had a few reprieves earlier on. Well, that could well be it for him. And Tawabuki and Buki, I think in the end, a sort of a mini ceasefire between the two of them. They were going at it tooth and nail there for quite a long time. And Jack West's incident seems to have saved him. Well, saved them.
Yeah, definitely so. That was brilliant. Brilliant battle between Tarabukin and Pookie there on that last lap. Aggressive but fair. And Jack West is seeing himself out the door, and he is out of this one. Simon Perroni is the winner of this one and the fastest from pole as well. Brilliant race from Perigny, and we're down to the last 7. Tarabukin, Pookie, Anna, Villacampa, Haladesh, Lundy, and Perigny are all safe through. West, who is knocked out of this one, he's lasted quite a while, but that is where the road ends for Jack West, and we're down to only one driver of every constructor. We have not got anyone else riding from the same constructor in between together.
Yeah, I don't think there was any real teamwork going on anyway. They were more just sort of in the same car. But yeah, definitely won't be any of that now. And if they had to pit for whatever reason, they won't clash with each other in the pits, which is good. And we are going to be heading to Suzuka for a race which in the end won't be too much shorter than the actual race they had at Suzuka a couple of weeks ago. Japan. It's a circuit, for whatever reason, on the F1 game, I don't enjoy Suzuka that much. But when I race it on any other sim, possibly one of my favourite circuits to drive around.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Japan. It's not the greatest on the F1 games. I don't think it really ever has been. I've never really personally liked it either. But yes, it's not bad on any other sims. I don't think I've really tried it personally. I only really drive F1 really. But yes, it's not a bad track in real life. I've definitely missed it from the personal rounds in real life. Obviously, this one, a little bit of one of the worst sides, but it wasn't too bad again. But we'll wait and see who is the victor out of this one. 7 drivers left to go. We're going to go down to 6 in a minute. Go down to the quarterfinals after this one, and we'll see who is left after that.
Yeah, Perronier taking his 3rd win of the evening after getting a bit of a reprieve in the previous race with his penalties getting removed. He'll be very grateful for that. And obviously, we know the way this game works. It does seem a lot that if you're starting at the front, as long as you don't make any mistakes, you should be fairly safe. And I think especially around here, not an easier track to overtake on whatsoever. We're not going to see the DRS, but that's chicane on the final lap. I think if you're in last place and you're anywhere within half a second of the car in front, you've got to go for it into that final corner and just hope you get it stopped cleanly.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that with Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez as well. They were battling all the way through, and obviously Leclerc getting a penalty at the end, controversial or not, cost him the championship. So could cost someone elimination or qualification into the next round, but we'll wait and see as we move on to Japan.
Yeah, we move on to Japan. The grid's getting smaller and smaller then. Just 7 cars in this one. 5 lights are on. They go out and we are underway at Suzuka. What are the starts like? Seems like Tawabukin has got a pretty decent start there, so he should be able to lead on the run down towards turn number 1. Carter-Lundy having to go defensive from Perronier as Menor and Pookie go side by side as well. And here's the onboard from the man in the elimination slot, Oscar Villacampa at the back of the field. At the moment, Menor having a massive moment. Villacampa's around. Oscar Villacampa loses it and uses reset to track, so that is very possibly game over already for the AlphaTauri man.
Yeah, that's pretty much certain. Oscar Villacampa out of that one. So we're now down to the 6th. There, Modestro Menor, Istvan Pookie, Simon Perroni, Carter-Lundy, Jan Haladesh, and Andre Tarabukin, and Oscar Villacampa all over the place with that front wing damage, and Modestro Menor getting the job done. Istvan Pookie still round the outside, but just squeezed out by Modestro Menor, and he's up in towards P5. Perroni in P4, hunting down Carter-Lundy in P3. Jan Haladesh in P2. Tarabukin leading the way, was on threat of elimination that last race at Spain, and now finds himself leading the Grand Prix. Jan Haladesh is hunting him down though in P2. Carter-Lundy in P3 as well, and Oscar Villacampa 8.5 seconds back, and I'm pretty sure it's no longer impossible from here for him to try and get back up into P6.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the front wing damage as well, so I think even if it wasn't for the front wing damage, he's getting disqualified for reset to track. Even if it wasn't for that, And yeah, the front wing damage is going to cost him big style, although Maynham and Pookie have had their own little battles. But it's Tarabukin leading then from Jan Haladej. Carter Lundy just in behind. We're on board with the Alpine of Simon Perignier, who looks, we can certainly say, is going to be one of the final 6 drivers, and he's certainly been one to watch so far, as the Frenchman tonight has put on some great performances. And these S's watching the F1 cars go through. But as we've seen, you've got to stay off the curbs through there. You hit one curb, you're going around straight away. And that was Villacamper's underwin 10 seconds now off the back of the pack.
Yeah, so it's also been announced Villacamper is disqualified as well. So that is Villacamper is out of that one. And now we're going to try and find the battle for the race win for this one. Tarabukin versus Haladej versus Lundy versus Perigny versus Mena versus Pookie. All this top 6 can end up winning this one at the end of it. Jan Haladej all over the back of Andrei Tarabukin at the moment. 0.3 of a second separates the two of them. Carlo Lundy just racing in the wings. EMP3, 5 cents back on the Haas man with Simon Perigny as well. Something to go through, and look at the straight line speed on that Alpine, just trying to close up to Carlo Lundy as well. And I wonder if he wants to have a look down the inside. He has a little bit of a look there, does Simon Perigny, but decides to back out of it. And we're going to see who will become the victor on this final lap of Grand Prix. Tarabukin, 5 tenths clear, and the fastest lap goes to him. Pedestrian Mena immediately replaces that. We head on to the final lap of the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah, on to the final lap then, as you said here, at the Japanese Grand Prix. And I think Perigny, he's probably done the wise thing, going for a setup with very little wing on it, which most are on this game. Seems to be the way to go, and seems to be able to help you in the slipstream. Jan Haladej was extremely close to the back of Andrei Tarabukin, but I think, if anything, was too close. And you can just see here, Mena and Pookie, these 6 have been in a train all race long, and it has been extremely clean so far. We have got to say, barring that little spin that Oscar Villacamper has had, and I wonder if, knowing that they're probably safe, we might see a few more brave moves. You sometimes see overtakes into the hairpin, as Mena, I think, thought about it there. Is going to take a later apex, going to try and get a better exit near the Alpine. Not able to do so on this occasion.
No, definitely not. Manestra Mena closing up to Simon Perigny all the time. Pookie is I'm pretty sure he's probably going to stay in that P6 spot, a little bit too far away from Manestra Mena. A huge mistake there, a little bit of a mistake from Simon Perigny, and that might shoot Manestra Mena up into P4. A little bit of a wiggle from Perigny out of the exit of Spoon, and that makes Manestra Mena through into 130R, gets the job done, and up into P4. And Andrei Tarabukin, right in the final corner, out of the Casio Triangle, gets the job done, and he wins the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah, Tarabukin wins here in Suzuka. Haladej, Lundy, Mena, Perigny, and Pookie, the 6 drivers that are going through. And I think we knew, even with the reset to track, the front wing damage was fatal for his chances. Oscar Villacamper, another driver who's had a reprieve earlier on tonight, he will be heading out here in the Alpha Tauri, and we are down to just our final 6 drivers. Tarabukin, Lundy, Haladej, Mena, Perigny, and Istvan Pookie. And let's not forget, if it wasn't for the reset to track from Oscar way back at Brazil about 2 hours ago, Pookie would have been out in the first race.
Yeah, he would have definitely done. Pookie obviously finishing last at Brazil, has found himself in these final 6 from the penalty removal. So he's done really well as this one, Pookie, so far. He's kept it clean. He's kept it very well. He's been on the brink of elimination a couple of times. He's done very well to keep himself going. We're now down to the last 6. Is this Van Pookie, Simon Perigny, and a load more others who should just cut off the screen there. But move on to the next round. The final 6 are now heading down to the last 5 after this one.
Yeah, really not long to go now. And we saw from that one just how evenly matched they were. I think if it wasn't for Villacamper having his issue, we'd have had all 7 of them fighting right towards the end. And we did see Maynham and Perigny having their own little battles. Those are the remaining tracks there on the screen. To my left at the moment, well, to my right, sorry, at the moment. Really not many left. Now, USA, Belgium, Hungary, France, Austria, Britain, Canada, Azerbaijan, Miami, China, and Portugal. Now, of course, China and Portugal a lot newer to this game than some of the others. So ones for drivers probably haven't had as much of a chance to go around. I imagine certainly China, probably not the most popular track on this game. And it's going to be one where you're really hoping that you're starting first. The Hungaroring, Hungary aka Monaco without the barriers.
Yeah, Monaco without the barriers. Hungarian Grand Prix. Turn one, yeah, once again, pretty much where you're only going to be open to overtaking opportunities, maybe down into the final sector as well, but mainly turn one is the only place to go. Good track, good little track is the Hungarian Ring. Has produced some really great races over in the past. 2021 was really, really good. 2006, I believe, was Jenson Button his first win, if my mind does not escape me. Probably it has. But yeah, it's been some really, really good races over in the past. And these final six are definitely going to have to battle it out in the Hungaroring. And it's going to be very, very interesting indeed.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, FES and a lot of these drivers tonight, the Hungaroring is their home turf. So I imagine the tracks, don't know, some of them may have even gone around it in real life. Will be interesting to see how they do. And you were right, Josh. 2006, Jenson Button's first Formula One win was the first ever Wet Hungarian Grand Prix. The next Wet Hungarian Grand Prix was 2011. Jenson Button won that one as well. He definitely didn't mind it too much when it was in the damp conditions. But as we already know, no one has got that to worry about. Turn number one, they have got to think about. They've got to think about getting a good start. And it is that middle sector is exceptionally twisty. Through there, it is pretty much single file. I think as you're going into the final sector, we're going to see the odd driver just try a bit of a move here. You know, you've got the hairpins at the end of the lap, but the 90-degree right-hander before then. If you've got an opportunity, if you've got a slight chance, it is a possible place to make some moves done in towards turn number 12. But we've got our 6 drivers ready. We see the order that they are in. It is Halliday at the back of the field. 5 lights on. And they go out here at the Hungaroring. What are the starts like from everyone? It seems like a pretty even start between the front two at the start of the field. I think Tarabukin just gets the second part of the getaway better than anyone else. Round the outside goes Tarabukin, and Jan Halliday is finding his path box left, right, and centre at the moment from different cars. It is now Puridier leading, Tarabukin in second, Lundy third, Pookie in fourth, Maida in fifth as Istvan Pookie tries to go all the way around the outside of Carter Lundy and has to just settle down for now. And Halliday, no gaps at the moment. They're off just waiting in the wings, possibly, until lap number 2.
Yeah, the initial start from Halliday was actually really, really good. Off the lights was side by side with Mena, but just got bogged down into turn 1 and turn 2. And now is going to have to fight like crazy to try and get past Medestra and Mena. Istvan Pookie as well in P4. Kalalundi, Andrei Tarabukin, and Simon Perroni is your top 3 on the podium so far. And it's getting so close right now between all of them. Jan Halliday getting quite close there to ending it all on the curves towards the final sector there. Jan Halliday really climbing to close up. Medestra and Mena, 0.5 of a second is the gap between himself and Medestra and Mena. Really going to start getting tenser now, and he's really going to have to start pushing all his luck to try and get past Medestra and Mena into this one.
Yeah, Halliday just, like you said, almost losing it on the curb, really costing him there. Medestra and Mena, he's all over the back of Istvan Pookie, and we've got Lundy all over the back of Tarabukin, and I think this could be Halliday's best chance. If all these drivers start battling, have a bit of contact, start slowing each other up, it's going to bring him onto the back of them once more. I mean, the Alpine of Simon Perrier, it looks like it is going to be a 4th victory for him tonight. He is just flying ahead at the front of the field, and Carter Lundy's got a fantastic run, and that's Pookie. Istvan Pookie round coming out of turn number 3. And again, barring any incidents for anyone else, that could be game over. And that has really split up the pack because Maynard and Halliday, I think, had to slam on the brakes to avoid getting caught up in that one. Perrier with a 1-second lead. Tarabukin and Lundy in the next pack. Then Maynard and Halliday. And it is now Istvan Pookie. He has got it all to do and has got to rely on misfortune for anyone else if he wants to be in that final 5.
Yep, 7 seconds back now on Jan Halliday. I think he's just lost it on the curves. I think, don't know if there was any contact. He was just driving his own race. Himself and Mena were just quite far behind between each other. So I think he's just lost it on his own, which is so unfortunate there. Now Istvan Pookie, he is out of this one. The Simon Perroni sets the fast up for the Grand Prix, 1:16.666. Call the devil. Andrei Tarabukin in P2. Carter Lundy is in P3. Medestra Mena in P4. Looking fairly comfortable with Jan Halliday in P5 right now. Istvan Pookie is seeing himself out the door. but Simon Perroni looking likely to be the ending victor of this one. But Carla Lundy looking so racy on Andrew Tarabukin.
And of course, it was Pookie talking about, it was a home circuit. It looks to have been a home curse for him. Unfortunately, he had not gone well for Pookie at all. Lundy all over the back of Tarabukin. Both of them completely burnt out their battery at the moment. They're having a right old battle. Tarabukin putting that McLaren exactly where he needs to, though, at this moment in time. Doesn't need to do anything silly. Can't see Carter going for that dive bomb at the moment. He knows he's nice and safe. He knows more likely to lead to a bad move and contact and possibly a crash out if he goes for it into the final corners. Closes in once more. Tarabukin running a bit wide. Certainly looks as though he's having to use more of the track, and certainly looks as though he's pushing harder than Lundy. The Alfa Romeo gets a little bit of a slide, but it is the Alpine of Simon Perronier who takes another victory here. He is safely through, as are Tarabukin and Carter Lundy. Modesto Maynham and Jan Haladej join them to make up the final five. Istvan Pookie on mistake, and that made all the difference for him. The Mercedes is out.
Yeah, unfortunate that for Istvan Pookie. Was doing so well throughout the remainder of this races. Was close to elimination at Brazil, but is hunting back now at Hungary. He is out of this one, and we say goodbye to the Mercedes crews. The only last thing, Mercedes on the grid. We're now down to the last five in this one. Perigny gets another win added to his belt in this event, and is looking so good so far. Was on the brink once again of elimination, almost got eliminated at Italy, but just survives with penalties going his way. And that is Istvan Pookie out of the way. It's now down to Andrew Tarabukin, Simon Perroni, Carter Lundy, Jan Haladej, and Modesto Minute to fight it out for the final five.
Yeah, they are for the final five, and they've all, I'd say, well, I think Perronier and Haladej, obviously they had Monza. They both came close to getting eliminated there. Tarabukin, Maynham and Lundy never really looked in trouble getting into the final laps of the race. They've all had moments where they've been towards the back of the field, but heading on to that very final lap, they've never really looked in too much danger. That could all change. For now, we'll wait and see what circuit it is going to change around. Not many left. I think there's 10 left on the Wheel of Fortune, and we are going to be heading to a street circuit. We're heading to Baku. Probably a good job there's only 5 drivers around here now, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely so, Azerbaijan. Yeah, normal street circuit for you. Not many overtaking opportunities. There are a few sort of dotted around turn 2, maybe turn 3 as well, probably on offer. And obviously, a huge back straight that can definitely decide whether you qualify or whether you get eliminated. It's so tight there with the nature of how long it is. But down to the last 5, it's definitely getting very tense to see who goes through and who is not getting knocked out.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that back straight is so tight. I reckon you could come out of the final proper corner at turn number 16, third, possibly even in second place, and you could still be in trouble. If you don't get a great exit, you are going to be given a brilliant slipstream to everyone else. And even with the DRS being activated so late down that straight, I don't think it's going to make any difference, and you could be in a world of pain there. So will be interesting to see how they all cope around here. It's going to be, certainly going to be one to watch. I think a bit of survival of the fittest in the final 5 here. All of them have been up there towards the front. I don't think we've seen wins yet from Haladej and Maynham, but Maynham starting at the front in this one. Haladej starting at the back, and the 5 lights go out. We're underway in Azerbaijan. Carter Lundy gets a pretty decent start, slots in just alongside Modesto Maynham for now, who's going to try and hold it around the outside. Haladej instantly attacking Simon Perronier, but almost loses the car on the curve. Through turn number 2 they go. Lundy and Maynham side by side. Tarabukin in 3rd. Perronier in 4th place. Jan Haladej at the back as the slipstreaming begins already, and the Alfa Romeo at the front of the field trying to make some moves down the inside. He goes in towards turn number 3, and they're all battling. There's about half a second separating the entire pack at the moment as they make their way towards the end of the first sector for the first time. Jan Haladej, as he was in Hungary, at the back of the field, not able to find a gap.
Yeah, definitely so. He might find one this time around as Tarabukin and Perigny battling so hard. Does he have any chance? No, he's going to back out of that one into the right-hander. Slipstream maybe on as they go into the castle section. Surely not too wide there. They're both so oh my goodness me. Jan Haladej having a look down the inside of Tarabukin. Could have ended in tears. Maestro Mena currently leading away and is looking to try and get his first win of the event. Simultaneously up into P3, but yeah, as you said, Jan Halliday once again at the back of the field. He's going to have to try so hard if he wants to try and stay in this competition. He's got Andrei Tarabukin in front of him and Simon Parani, who are both looking really good so far.
That could help Tarabukin. Bit of wheel spin coming out of turn number 16 there, but I don't think it was the cleanest of exits from the Czech Republic man either. Maynham and Lundy should be pretty safe with how things are going at the moment, but that's a big thing to say, of course. We've still 2 more laps of the Baku City circuit to go. Maynham, Lundy, Perrier, Tarabukin and Halliday leaving at lead. Well, they are the 5 drivers at the moment, and it will be Jan Halliday leaving the session as things stand. And oh, Lundy and Perrier getting pretty close together there. Carter must have made a mistake somewhere because he was well ahead of Simon Perrier. And this is what I mean. You never know what could happen. Jan Halliday and now Andrei Tarabukin, both just sitting behind, both just waiting to see what could happen. And still the Alfa Romeo and the Alpine driver are going at it. And still no way through for the Haas.
Absolutely. So I think this is probably going to be a last lap master. There goes Halliday, as I just say that, down the inside of Tarabukin into the outside. Contact made between the McLaren and the Haas. I do not believe it. And Andrei Tarabukin and Jan Halliday make contact together. There's damage to the McLaren. 2-second time penalty for Andrei Tarabukin. Not sure if there's contact and damage to the Haas though. And Tarabukin absolutely furious with the Haas, I'm sure. But that is not what is needed. And that is Andrei Tarabukin with damage. Not sure if Jan Halliday has damage either. Yellow flags. That's Carlo Lundy gone. And Lundy's out of this one. He's had a crash somewhere, not sure where. Has he binned it into the left? Yes, he has. And that is a bin from Carlo Lundy. And now Jan Halliday, Tarabukin, Perigny and Mena are through into the next round. Lundy is out.
Yeah, a bit like we saw in Spain. Tarabukin was having the battles with Istvan Pukki. In the end, it was a mistake from Jack West that ended up saving him there. And I think this time it's a mistake from Carter Lundy has ended up saving him. Tarabukin did get front wing damage in that contact with Jan Halliday. Modesto Mena leads, Simon Perrier in second, Tarabukin third. A penalty will drop him down to 4th. I don't think he won't care at the moment. He's safely through as long as he finishes. I think Carter Lundy would wait and get this confirmed. I think Carter might have just lost it on his own, but Jan Halliday still at the back of the field. He is going to be going through at the moment.
Yeah, definitely so. The penalty, I think, has just been removed as well. So the penalty is removed from Andrei Tarabukin. No sure what has happened. Carter Lundy just said he went straight on. But oh my goodness me. That is absolutely heart-wrenching for Carter Lundy. So unfortunate. It was looking the best out there so far this event. And just a silly mistake that happened there. And that is Lundy out of the session. We go into the quarterfinals in the next round. But Maestro Mena has done really well so far, and he's gonna be able to win this Grand Prix. Simon Parani is in P2, Tarabukin is P3, and Jan Halliday is in P4.
Yeah, Halliday in P4. I mean, he went for that move down the inside of Tarabukin. Probably a good job, I think, for both of these that Lundy had that retirement, because if not, there could have been some words between the two of them. The move was on, but I therefore also don't think that Tarabukin really had any chance once he was on the outside of leaving Halliday that much space, as we're seeing a bit of fun and tricks between the two of them. You're through, lads. You're through. You don't need to do any of this. You're comfortably safe at the moment. It is like a cycling sprint race now. Modesto Mena wins. Simon Perrier in second place, and it is going to be Andrei Tarabukin who crosses the line in third. The penalty does not matter, though. It will drop him behind Jan Halliday. But Carter Lundy, on his own, makes a mistake coming through turn number 15. And the Canadian driver is out, leaving us with our final 4 going into the last 3 races.
Quarterfinals now underway in this one, and this is just getting so tight. The final 4 are ready to go. We say goodbye to the Alfa Romeo team as well. Carlo Lundy, so unlucky. He was looking the best out there by far so far with how he was driving, but just that one silly mistake. And that is what can happen. That can cost you whether you go through or not. But Maestro Mena picks up his first win of the event. and definitely well deserved. Won pretty much from start to finish, got the job done, and wins by 2.5 seconds to Simon Perigny, Jan Haladej, and Andrew Tarabukin in P4.
Yeah, so you can see on screen right now the drivers that are staying in: Tarabukin, Perigny, Maynard, and Jan Haladej. The final 4 drivers, as I think we've still got 9 possible circuits left to go to. And it was Carter who said we've not had Belgium yet, we've not had Britain, we've not had Austria. Some, tracks that always provide fantastic racing would be, I think, the final 3 I'd like to see. If I'm being honest, they'd be superb ones. We'll see what circuit, though, we are going to get next. Only 3 races to go, and we're going to be heading... Well, Carter might have liked to race at his own circuit, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We are heading to Canada. Not the most universally loved track, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think Carter is definitely so unlucky with that one. I think he definitely would have wanted to race at his own Grand Prix. But yeah, Canada, not too bad. It's been there's a few overtaking opportunities you can go for there. Pretty sure people will just try and take it calm. I think it's going to be P4 and P3 that are going to be battling extremely hard in this one. But we'll wait and see what happens in that one once again, as we usually do. But hopefully everyone keeps it clean. No unfortunate mistakes from anyone, and see who goes through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, we will. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to be going through now. We can pretty much... we're not too far away from being able to take a bit of a random stab in the dark at this one. Tarabukin, he's through. He's had some wins. Modesto Maynard got his first win last time around. Simon Perigny's had 4 victories so far tonight, but he needed penalty removals to get himself through, and I think Jan Haladej on that one might be just counting his lucky stars after what happened in the last race. It's a couple of aces in a row now where for Haladej, it looks like he's going to have been heading out because he's been last around a circuit that's hard to overtake. And a mistake from another driver has saved him. And that's pretty much what tonight's been about so far. It's just keeping it clean. Now, though, with the less drivers, possibly going to have to force the issue a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So out from here, we will have many mistakes happening. I think everyone will try and keep it calm. There's not many drivers on the grid, only the 4 drivers on the grid, so you won't really see those big crashes that might happen, which might take out everybody, as we usually do. But obviously, we saw it last round with Jan Haladej and Andrew Tarabukin, though, so that can happen. But obviously, you can have a little bit of a luck with someone else crashing, as Carter did. So it's an interesting one going into these last 4-ish rounds. But we'll wait and see how it finds out. And I think we'll be getting ready to go in a few moments.
Yeah, shouldn't take that long now, of course, for the drivers to, they're all in their cars. I think maybe just waiting for the final couple to leave the session. It's been, seen some fantastic action so far tonight. Started about 2.5 hours ago. It's Brazil there, carnage at turn number 1. Most of the races have had some elements of carnage, I think, apart from perhaps, Hungary, we didn't see too many major issues. We didn't see loads last time, apart from a lot of control from Carter Lundy. 5 lights are on here at Canada. Tarabukin versus Haladej versus Maynard versus Perigny. On and running, there you go. And it is 2 by 2 in towards the first 2 corners. Perigny on the outside for turn number 1. That's the inside for turn number 2. And Frighty Gelson getting squeezed in between the Haas and the Aston Martin. Gives Tarabukin the tiniest bit of a lead at the moment as they make their way through the Sebastian Vettel chicane. It is Tarabukin, Haladej, Maynard and Perigny. At the moment, the Alpine at the back of the field, down the inside, he dives it in towards turn number 6 and 7. And Simon Perigny just holds on to that one. Now, of course, here, we're going to see plenty of DRS usage on the final lap and possibly heading into that final wall of champion chicane. But it is somehow, as they were at the start of the race, Tarabukin, Haladej, Maynard and Perigny. That is the order, and it is the Alpine looking in trouble at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Andrew Tarabukin taking the lead so far, but Jan Haladej is not far behind. Neither is Modesto Maynard to Jan Haladej. Perigny at the back as well, trying something down the inside. He's been classed all day as well. I think he's probably had the most wins out of anyone as well with number 4. But right now, he's going to get knocked out of this one if he can't try and find anything on Modesto Maynard. Tarabukin, fast lap of the Grand Prix, goes him 17.7. I think that is on the timing screens. Apparently, a little bit of a move down that inside, a little bit of a gap. Just disintegrates just in time for Modesto Maynard. Jan Haladej getting closer and closer to Tarabukin as Modesto Maynard just starting to lose away. Is Perigny going to try and have a look something down there and inside? He looks very, very late indeed. The inside of Mena, does he hold it down the inside? Does the Spaniard? They're side by side. Perigny holds it down the outside. Here comes Mena and Perigny side by side. Can Mena hold it down the inside? Perigny holds it around the outside and goes off the track. And oh my goodness me, that's a crash. And it's Simon Perigny's head spin round. And that could be the end to Simon Perigny's event. And that was huge. Trying it around the outside, had to go off the track, clips onto the curb, and that is round he goes for Simon Perigny, and we might now be down to the last three.
Yeah, I think barring any dramas for everyone else, the man who's been almost faultless tonight, the Frenchman, Simon Perigny, will be heading out of this session, but it's Tarabuki leading Jan Haladej in second position at the moment. DRS, we will see it being used on 3 separate occasions next time around, and it is only going to be, as they stand at the moment, Jan Haladej who's going to be having access to that DRS, and I think Tarabuki is thinking, please, 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 do not go for any moves. We are safely through. Let's just be sensible about this now. Not close enough into the chicane here at the end of the first sector is Jan Haladej, but that all started from Simon Perigny getting a better run as Jan Haladej almost loses the car. He had a better run through this part of the track. He went side by side with Modesto Mena. He went, and I think maybe should have just yielded, went over the runoff area. As soon as he came back onto the circuit, lost the rear of the car. Very easily done. Tarabukin leading then. Haladej and Mena taking him around the hairpin here, the casino hairpin, for the final time at Montreal. It looks like it's going to be game over for the Frenchman, and Tarabukin, Haladej, Mena will be your final 3.
Yeah, definitely so. Into the semi-final, they go. Tarabukin, Haladej, and Mena. Tarabukin gets the job done, and he's going to win the Canadian Grand Prix. Gets another win added to his name, and Jan Haladej still hunting for his first win of the event. But Modesto Mena is into P3. Perigny is out of this one. We now move to the semi-final. Tarabukin versus Haladej versus Mena.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating one. Right from being at the back, at the front of the race, well, at the start of the race, I think really just meant there was not a lot there that Simon Perigny can do. He tried as he might. We nearly saw contact between himself, Mena, and Haladej right at the start, but it is the Alpine that is heading out there. And there we go. Simon Perigny, the Frenchman, is out of this one. Tarabukin versus Mena versus Jan Haladej. Those are the final 3. And I think they were saying there, a lot of them, they were using no downforce around there. They know how important it is. Like, even if you're slow through the twisty stuff, that doesn't really matter because no one can overtake you.
Yeah, definitely so. It's so tight around there. You just have to run with barely any wings on the car. You just have to make sure you have that straight line speed. You have to make those lunges when you can. But yeah, that's what you kind of have to do, unfortunately, in these races, just to make sure you get the victories. We wait to see what will be the semi-final race.
Yeah, the wheel spins around once more, and it looks like we are heading to Miami. We are heading to the Sunshine State. Definitely wouldn't have been Sunshine if that wheel would have just carried on a tiny bit longer. But yeah, we are heading to the new Miami International Autodrome. Brand new circuit, obviously, to this game. A couple of extremely long, well, flat-out sections. One of them technically a long corner, but, you know, extremely long flat-out sections, which are going to be perfect for slipstreaming. I'm expecting 3 wide battles on the final lap.
Yeah, definitely so. Barely any overtaking opportunities, really. Maybe down off the back straight. But, yes, it's what, as you said, one of the newest tracks on the F1 calendar, the newest USA edition to the calendar. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those that will be interesting. Qualifying will definitely be the one. Well, I say qualifying, it sees how you fare up on the grids. But whoever finishes P3 out of this one, well, whoever really qualifies in P3, probably going to be knocked out. But we'll wait and see how that goes. We get into the lobby right now.
Yeah, we are then loading into the lobby. Shouldn't be too long before we are getting on the way. Let us know who you think is going to be the final 2 then. And I believe we will be having a quick short break before we go into that final race. But here we are to that Miami International Autodrome. It's going to be, next year, it's going to be one of 3 tracks, of course, used in Formula 1 that we are seeing at America. And here we go. Mena, Haladej, Tarabukin. Lights go on. Which will be the final two? They go out and we are underway. At Miami, a decent start then from Maynard and Halliday. Chavabukin, if anything, has been left a bit further behind as the front two go side by side into the first corner and now just start battling through the S's. And already that's going to allow the McLaren a slight opportunity to think about going around the outside. But yields for now and knows he might just have to be patient. He might just have to stay behind through this first sector as they make their way around the awkward 6, 7 and 8 complex. Maynard, Halliday, Chavabukin, as they were, this is where the slipstreaming gets underway.
Tarabukin got a pretty decent start off the lights and already trying to slipstream on Jan Halliday. Should he pull left or right? He's going to pull to the right-hand side. Mena might be involved in this one. Halliday has to keep it. Any chance of this one. Side by side they go. Not sure what is going to happen out of that one. It's Jan Halliday still down the inside who just makes it work. And Tarabukin is going to have to think a little bit harder out of this one. Mena on for the back-to-back wins once again. Into 2 wins actually from Baku. Here comes Tarabukin once again with the ERS. Halliday decides not to defend so aggressively. And into P2 goes Tarabukin. Jan Halliday has got a lot more to do now as they head on to that number 2 of number 3.
Yeah, there we go, heading on towards the second lap of the race. So that is Tarabukin's made the move then. He is a bit far back from Modesto Maynard though, so won't gain too much from the slipstream in all of this. So definitely looking very good for the Spaniard at the moment. I imagine Maynard, you can imagine, there's still plenty of time. There's still mistakes could be made as Halliday's just a bit too much curve there. Has to correct the car, has to try and hold on to stuff. Maynard, Tarabukin, Halliday, the order for now, about halfway through this race then. And it is not looking ideal at the moment for the Czech driver who's been so close on so many occasions. We'll have to see if he can get away with this one. Not the greatest exit as they come onto the flat out section where next time he will have the DRS. But as things stand at the moment, so will the McLaren ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. So 0.3 of a second is between Tarabukin and Mena. Wonder if Tarabukin just using next to no downforce on that car. Is so quick in a straight line there as they go in towards the left and the right. Halliday with a penalty. Halliday with a penalty, and that probably declares him out of this one unless anyone else gets a penalty or crashes out of this one. Jan Halliday right now is out of the event and will be going down to Mena versus Tarabukin. Will anyone have some shock crashes near the end? It's probably going to be between Mena and Tarabukin. They have some big errors, but Jan Halliday with that penalty might be securing him out of this one.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, that could very well possibly be a fair penalty. Unfortunately for Halliday, thinks about a move down into what's turn number 1. Oh, well held from the Czech Republic, man. So close to losing the car there. So late on the brakes, locked up the rears somehow. Keeps it pointed in the right direction and is somehow still within DRS range of the 2 cars ahead of him. Maynard, Tarabukin, Halliday, Aston Martin, McLaren have 3 cars that are remaining, but barring a miracle, it's going to be Maynard and Tarabukin that make their way into the final.
Yeah, definitely so. Jan Halliday is trying as best as he can. He wants that ticket to the final if he can, but I think that is just going to be it. I think his luck has just run out here in Miami. Tarabukin did what he needed to do, finished well, qualified at the back of the field, and now he's got the job done up into P2 at the start, and he's going to be rewarded with a ticket to the final. Modesto Mena has led all the way. He's going to win the Miami Grand Prix and book his place in the final. The Aston Martin versus McLaren, Mena versus Tarabukin into the final. But what track is the question?
Yeah, what track? That's going to be a interesting one to see what it is going to be. And I think Halliday, sorry, I think he realises his race is run now, just heading towards the end in this one, and ending his race spectacularly in the barriers. Modesto Maynard, Andrei Tarabukin, they are the 2 drivers that will be taking part in the final, and it is a second win of the night for Modesto Maynard, a man who has been extremely consistent so far, as is Tarabukin, but that counts for nothing. It's all about what they do in the final 3 laps. Gonna be a fascinating final.
Yeah, definitely. So Mena gets the job done. He gets the win out of that one with Tarabukin finishing exactly 7 tenths behind him. It's going to be the final we're all wanting. Medestra Minute versus Andrei Tarabukin, who's going to take the victory in the knockout event here in FES. Be an absolutely fantastic one for sure. And there it is, confirmation. Jan Haladej is out of the competition between Andrei Tarabukin in the McLaren versus Medestra Minna in the Aston Martin inside the track in a few moments' time as well.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what that circuit is going to be. They've been extremely close so far. It's been fascinating. Won't be too long before we are underway with the final, but very soon we'll be back shortly. Just going to have a quick advert break to hear from our sponsors. See you in a moment.
A 3D egy évtizede foglalkozik 3D nyomtatók és 3D szkennerek forgalmazásával, valamint technológiai szolgáltatással. Elképesztően hatékony munkafolyamatot eredményezhet az, hogy bárhol és bármikor néhány percen belül létrehozhatjuk bármilyen fizikai tárgynak a digitális sikerpárját. Ehhez az általunk forgalmazott Artec 3D és Gomceiss kéziszkennerek piacvezető minőséget és rendkívül gyors munkafolyamatot biztosítanak. Partnereink azért választanak minket, mert a 3D nyomtatáson és 3D szkennelésen kívül az összes olyan ismeretet és berendezést vagy technológiát megtalálják nálunk, amellyel magabiztosan tudják használni házon belül a 3D nyomtatóikat. Szerviz hátteret, kellékanyagellátást, garancián túli szervizt és szaktanácsadást is kaphatnak tőlünk, így már az első naptól elindulhat a termelés az általunk átadott eszközökön. Bizonytalan kísérletezések helyett választanak minket a 3D nyomtatáshoz.
It's the great American race for a reason, and you're a part of it.
Right here, we've seen it talk about how aggressive he Well, welcome back, everyone. We're just getting ready for the final race. It is going to be Modesto Mena versus Andrei Tarabukin. Two drivers who've done extremely well so far tonight. So we'll be interested to see who comes out on top. And of course, we don't yet know what circuit we'll be racing on. We were saying in the background, well, I was saying, I wouldn't mind Austria. I just feel like, nice and short, nice and snappy. 3 DRS zones would certainly be an interesting one to end on.
Yeah, definitely. So Austria, Silverstone, any one of those would probably be a really, really good fitting end to the events. You really, really, really want a good track to end on, which is what everyone really wants. But we do get one of those street circuits. I don't know if we have any left or not. I can't really remember what's gone and what isn't. There we go. We have Austria, France, Britain, USA, Portugal, and China. So pretty much all of them are really, really good tracks. So any one of those, I've really, really taken a heartbeat.
Yeah, definitely. There's some, they're all really good ones. And as we're saying, it's coming up right now. Which circuit is it going to be? We are going to be racing at Spa-Francorchamps, longest circuit on the F1 calendar. 7 kilometer, 4.3 mile blast through the Ardennes forest. The Camel Straight is going to provide plenty of fun here. And of course, the run down through Blanchimont and the bus stop. This could well be decided right at the end here.
Yeah, definitely. So could go down to the bus stop chicane between the two of them. Could go down to maybe even lap one. We never know. But yeah, Belgium is one of the best tracks on the calendar. Absolutely fantastic. Was that risk really of being knocked off the calendar this season? But thankfully they have made a new agreement, so we will be racing them once again. But yeah, this is going to be really, really exciting, and it should be an absolutely fascinating end to the season.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a circuit. Spa-Francorchamps, classic track. So many classic corners as well. I mean, we always talk about Eau Rouge and Raidillon, Blanchimont as well. The double left-hander at Pouhon, very tricky corner to get right. Downhill hairpin into Bruchel can always be a dramatic one. Tactics are going to play a part here. Tactics are really going to play a part. I think heading on to the final lap of the race, do you sit behind coming out of La Source, try and get the slipstream up Eau Rouge? And if you decide to do that, do you go for the move down the Camel Straight, or do you leave it right until the end? Do you dare leave it until Blanchimont, knowing that the driver ahead of you might just pull far enough away through the middle sector? It's it's going to be a tight one to see how the drivers think about taking this. Normally, you want to be second going on to the final lap, and you want to get the move done down up the Camel Straight. But I imagine whoever's leading is just going to conveniently go a bit deeper to La Source to try and get the DRS off someone else.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those, isn't it? Where the strategy, well, whoever is going to lead into the final lap might be the one who goes on to lose it. Really, if you want to get that DRS up into Eau Rouge, then chances are you're probably going to win it unless you really, really defend extremely hard. But even then, with the overpower the ERS, with the DRS and the slipstream, it's very, very hard to defend it. But if you want to risk it until the very end at the bus stop, then you can do that as well. So it's one of those really. It's either really. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see until we get into the race to see what they will do at the end of the last lap.
Yeah, I can tell you now, the drivers have been told to ready up, so it will not be too long before we are underway and waiting to see what is going to happen around here. Will it be Andrei Tarabukin? He's had a win earlier on tonight. He's come so close to elimination on a couple of occasions. None closer than perhaps at Spain, where who knows, if it wasn't for the drama with Jack West having an issue, we could well have seen Andrei Tarabukin coming out. Or will it be Modesto Mena? Always there or thereabouts at the start of the evening. Has now really started to come into his own, and obviously has been rewarded with the final two. You can't really put anything between these two. Can't really say, unlike Hungary and a few of the other tracks we've had tonight, that starting on pole position is going to be an advantage.
Yeah, definitely. So it's an interesting one to see, really. Who will get pole position, who will get second place. But maybe if you get second place, you have got the inside into one. If you want to lead into Eau Rouge, if you're on pole, want to leave that room to get up the slipstream. Here we go then. We've got side-by-side views. We've got one on the left, one on the right. The lights are going to go on now, and they're ready to go. We're underway for the final then. Tarabukin does get the better start compared to Maestro Mena, and he leads in towards turn one. Tarabukin gets the job done. Maestro Mena will be the one chasing him up the Rouge. Side by side they might go towards the Camel Straight. Tarabukin leads a little bit off throttle just to make sure Maestro Mena doesn't get caught up in that slipstream. Here we go then, Maestro Mena with the ERS on board. Side by side they go. Through goes Mena. Mena up towards P1. Does Tarabukin have anything down the inside? They make contact a little bit. Mena is offline, but Andre Tarabukin is forced out into P2, and Mena takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix.
Mena in the lead for now. Down into Bruxelles they go for the first time. Tarabukin just following in for now. You can see the ERS levels, both of them pretty full at the moment. I don't think it'll be that way heading onto the final lap of this race. Through Pujon for the first time. Mena leading. Tarabukin, if anything, slight little wobble through the first part of Pujon, but seems to have got away with that one. And it will just be single file through the camper chicane. You can see the gap there. 0.3 of a second between the pair of them now as they head in towards Stavolo and Paul Frere to finish for second sector of lap number one. And Mena just pulling away at the moment. He's doing this without the battery, so he's doing a pretty good job at the moment.
5/10 between the two of them. Tarabukin losing a lot of ground at the start. He's only got 2 laps to do this now if he wants to try and take the victory in the knockout event. Through the bus stop we go. It's Mena who leads Andre Tarabukin in P2. We start lap 2 of 3. It's Maestro Mena with the fast lap of the Grand Prix. 42.274 at the start. Tarabukin will get the slipstream up Eau Rouge, and right now, if it stayed like this, it is going to be the slipstream needed for Andre Tarabukin on the last lap, and the DRS as well. We go through Upper Rouge for the second time this race. It's Maestro Mena leading away. Tarabukin in P2 as we keep seeing Andre Tarabukin in the slipstream. Does he want to try anything? Is he close enough? Is the question. Not on this occasion. He's going to have to wait a little while longer in towards the left and the right. Still, Maestro Mena leading the way. He's been brilliant so far. Both of them have been absolutely fantastic. But right now, Maestro Mena is winning this knockout event.
Yeah, and let's not forget, this is going to be a best-of-3 knockout event. So, Maestro Mena's winning round number 1 here. May still be a chance for Andre Tarabukin. But at the moment, Andre half a second behind. Has used more battery as well. And again, runs wide through the first part of Pujon. This has not been a smooth one from Tarabukin. So yeah, quite a bit of drama at the moment. Mena leading, Tarabukin in second place at this moment in time. Is he going to be close enough to do anything through Eau Rouge, Radion, and up the Camel Straight? At the moment, I'd say perhaps not, but it is, of course, an extremely long run. Both of them dumping the battery out of Stavolo and Paul Frere, and through Blanchimont they come. The Aston Martin Maestro Mena almost with a 0.7 of a second gap there, but you can certainly see here Tarabukin got that advantage of straight line speed, about 5 or 6 kilometers an hour faster there before they got the braking zone into the bus stop. Final lap, Mena versus Tarabukin. Who's going to win round number 1?
Gonna wait and see then. Maestro Mena with another fastest lap there of this race. Andre Tarabukin needs to get closer and closer. 6.5 tenths is the gap between the two of them. In towards Eau Rouge they go, and I think Tarabukin might be a little bit too far back once again. He will get the benefit of DRS though as they go up towards the Camel Straight. Maestro Mena draining his battery as best as he can. Is Tarabukin gonna be close enough to the back of Mena is the question. No. This might be the round that goes to Maestro Mena. He might go 1-0 up here as they come towards the end of Sector 2 and into Sector 3 they come. Tarabukin all over the back of Mena so far, but Mena keeping a stern lead. 5 tenths is about the gap, but it's looking likely that Maestro Mena might be the one taking round 1 in there.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens, of course. Still a bit of time to go. Tarabukin's less than 10%. He's clipping on his battery for now, so advantage, you've got to say, for the Maestro Mena. 0.6 of a second ahead. Only a few more corners to go, about 30 seconds time, and we'll know who is going to win round 1 of the finale here at the FES knockout event through Stavolo and Paul Frere. Tarabukin certainly closing up at the entry there, just not got the downforce, I don't think, to push those rear tyres into the ground. loses out on traction. Modesto Mena nearly 1 second clear as they make their way through Blanchimont. It was pretty close at the start of the race. In the end, not really too much competition here. Through the final corner, through the bus stop chicane, Modesto Mena heads towards the finish line, and Modesto Mena takes a victory in the first round of this event. And Andre Tarabukin with some thinking to do and possibly some changes to do with that setup. So much speed in a straight line, just losing too much in that middle sector, it looked like.
Yeah, definitely. So you could just see it was about 7/10 back on Modesto Mena, just in towards those final couple of sectors there, which is not what he wanted at all. But it is going to be the first round going to Modesto Mena, and Andrew Tarabukin has some sort of idea. He's going to have to try and buck something up if he wants to try and get back into this one. Next round, if Modesto wins this, it's all over, and he is the champion of the knockout event.
Yeah, it seemed to work pretty well for him there. Got the move done very early on into that race. Of course, it was done. We're into turn number 1, and we're heading, of course, to another circuit. So start having to change the setup. And where are they heading to now? Ooh, this is going to be an interesting one, I think. Portimao, a circuit that I've not seen in many leagues so far on this game, being, you know, one of the 3 DLC tracks that was introduced. Very different to Belgium. Very undulating, you know, quite, I think, enjoyable to drive on. Not the easiest to overtake on. Could all be crucial at the start of the race here. Slight possibility into turn number 1, but it's not a very heavy braking zone. So I think you've pretty much got to be ahead before the corner if you want to make a move there stick.
Yeah, definitely. You can't really go side by side into turn 1. You're gonna have to really try and be side by side if you want to, just before the corner, as you said. In any chance to make a move, it's just how quick it is. If you get on that curb, chances are you're going to be spinning round in towards the ball. So it's going to wait and see what happens. This could be the decider if Modesto Mena wins this one. It is all over. Portimao, another pretty decent track there. It's had some pretty decent races in the past. 2020, a really, really good one. 2021, not so much. Pretty dominant by Lewis Hamilton there, but it's going to be a good one to near the end. 2 races maybe to go. This could be the last one, but it's going to be interesting how that's going to go.
Yeah, if Modesto Mena takes the victory here in this race, it will be over. We won't have a chance for the finale. And Andrew Tarabukin, he knows what he's got to do. He has got to win pretty much by any means possible. He's got to make sure he is winning at the end of the 3 laps. Portimao circuit, one of, I think, the different circuit we've seen used in Portugal in Formula 1. Ironically, doesn't look too different to the Estoril track, which are used in the 80s and 90s, and saw some fantastic battles around there. Will we see another fantastic battle around Portimao? Like just mentioned, used it twice in F1 2021. Bit of a snooze fest 2020. Very interesting start to the race. Kimi Raikkonen going from something like 18th to 6th place as the light drizzle started to fall around there. Very different, as we mentioned, obviously, to Belgium. So this is going to be a good one. 5 lights are on. They go out, and we are underway. It's Modesto Mena, of course, this time with the lead away. Andre Tarabukin has got a better start, though. Can he get alongside into turn number 1? Thinks better of it as they make their way through these right-handers that dictate the start of this circuit. Mena in the lead, Tarabukin in 2nd place, already starting to think about where can he get the moves done as we climb the hill. Slight little wobble from the McLaren again. Does not look as though he's got the traction in that car that he really needs to be successful, but could well prove us on. Heading in towards the middle sector of the lap, undulating once more, but it's pretty much going to be single file from here in towards turn number 1, unless you're incredibly brave. Round turn number 8, Modesto Mena in the lead of this race, and Andre Tarabukin has got to think about where he can get something done. It looked as though he had a good run in towards turn number 1, but I just think not quite far enough alongside to make the move stick.
Yeah, definitely so. It did get a good start, though, off the lights, did Andrew Tarabukin. A little bit better than Mena, but that shortness-ish of the run into turn 1 made it impossible for him to go side by side and down that inside. But Mena will lead lap 1 away, and Tarabukin has got a lot to do in this one. Into lap 2 they go. He's got 2 laps from home as Modesto Mena to win this championship. Here comes Andre Tarabukin, though, trying to close up as best as he can to Modesto Mena. Into 1 they go. It's still Mena leading this one. Just looks so comfortable in the lead so far. Just hasn't had to battle so hard with Andrei Tarabukin. Into the left they come, into the DRS, which will be activated next lap. Not this one, but it's still Mena with a very, very commanding lead out in front.
Yeah, it looks like Mena. I mean, Tarabukin's gone for those low downforce setups around a lot of tracks. It seems to have worked out right up until now. It's so twisty in the middle sector around here. It doesn't seem to be able to stay close enough. Like Josh said, we will see from turns number 4 to 5 DRS on the final lap of the race. But they're not going to get it on the run down towards turn number 1. And I think that is where Andrei really needs it. And looking at the ERS levels at the moment, about 25% for Andrei Tarabukin. Domena's up and around the 60% mark at the moment. He's got that. He's to just have the outright pace advantage at the moment, and he can use that ERS to negate the DRS of Tarabukin. It's going to be a bit of a struggle as they round the final corners for the penultimate time. Mena versus Tarabukin, and Modesto Mena looks like he is about 75 seconds away from taking the victory here.
Yeah, absolutely. Final lap, and that is the fastest lap again for Modesto Mena. 5/10 is the gap between Tarabukin and Mena. It's going to be all over in one lap for Andrei Tarabukin. It's going to be thrills for Spain. And right now, Mena, if he doesn't do anything stupid, this will be his victory to go for. DRS is enabled for Tarabukin. Needs something or other. 7/10 is the gap between himself and Mena right now. I think that might be it for Modesto Mena. I don't think Tarabukin can get close enough. 8/10 is the gap between himself and Tarabukin. It's just been a brilliant display all the way through from Mena. Never in doubt from elimination. And Modesto Mena right now is going to be the champion of the FES knockout event.
Oh, and there you go. I think Tarabukin realised it was game over. Tarabukin sends it into the wall. Modesto Mena is going to take the victory here then. I don't think it was pretty much in doubt. We just saw that Andrei Tarabukin losing it out of almost every corner with the undulation. Perhaps not having as much rear downforce on the car as Modesto Mena. Didn't have the traction. That proved to be the crucial thing. And it is the Spaniard who takes the win here. 2 out of 2. Modesto Mena wins the FES knockout event. And I think, as we said all the way through, can't remember once when he was at threat of elimination. And even in those 2 finales, when it was just him or Andrei, he had the pace. He did everything right. And a well-deserved victor.
Yeah, definitely. So, Modesto Mena is your champion there. As we see, Andrei Tarabukin is been crossed out there. Modesto Mena, what a drive he's had all the way through. Never in doubt once from elimination. Kept it calm, cool and collected. And he is the well-deserved victor of the FES Championship. What a drive he's had, the knockout event for Modesto Mena, and he's going to be very, very happy with that one.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, did a great job all the way through. It looked like, I'm not taking anything away from him, but it definitely looked like the 2 of them had gone, certainly at Belgium, different directions on setups. Andrei closed in fantastically on the run down towards Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane on lap number 1, but just in the middle sector, you could see him sliding all over the place, and it turned out to be the same thing at Portugal. Maybe Andrei's thinking, you know what, should have just gone for it into turn number 1 on lap 1 and see what happened. Never got close afterwards.
Yeah, never got close. Probably it was risky if he did. Might have got penalised if something happened after that. But yeah, maybe the wiser option in that one. But always going to be those if, buts, and maybes in racing. If should I have done this? Shouldn't I have done this? But yeah, it was a very tough race. Andrei Tarabukin, obviously, deserving of the second place, did very, very well all the way through. Mena, definitely the deserving victor in that one, did so well. And is rewarded with the champion of the knockout event. So congratulations to him. And Andrei Tarabukin did very, very well as well for him in P2.
Yeah, so cruel, I think, for Andrei, you know, doing such a good job all the way through. Had the odd occasion where he was close to getting eliminated. Never quite happened. Did manage to get the odd win, but in the end, Mena, I mean, let's not forget, as well as Belgium and Portugal, Miami was the penultimate race, and it looked like there, Mena just had that tiny bit more edge. We're talking probably outright pace, maybe a 10th or 2 a lap, if that. But in the end, it is always going to be quite difficult. I think Tarabukin say just, you know, Spa, not a track he's a big fan of. Portugal, he's not had to do in league racing, so not done a lot of laps around there. So maybe setups not quite the optimal thing, but that's just the way it goes. This event, you know, yes, you've got to be good, but there's always that element in something like this with the random tracks, with the random grids, that bit of element of luck. And there were quite a few drivers who perhaps think they might have had some bad luck behind. We saw a lot of dramatic moments. If we go back to, quite a few races, there'll be a few drivers who'll be pretty gutted. Azerbaijan, Carter London losing it on his own. Spain, it looks like it was Jack West lost it on his own. I'm sure there were others that we have forgotten about, not just focusing on those two. Did a great job, obviously, to get that far. If, ironically, for an event full of free lappers, got to have quite a lot of stamina to get through tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's even me. I'm sweating here just commentating over it. It's been a really, really tough all the way through these past 3 hours ish. We've been racing here. It's been brilliant to watch all the way through. The racing has been absolutely fantastic. The drivers, the winners have been amazing, and all the races and winners have really been well deserved. Modesto Mena, definitely the deserving champion there as well. But yeah, it's been brilliant, and hopefully this might happen again to do so, and maybe we might have a different winner. We never know, but yeah, Modesto Mena definitely the deserving one out of that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, forget at the start of the night, we started, I believe, with 18 drivers because unfortunately Vincent Nekrista and Vadim Svetkov couldn't join us. We had no idea at the start, if we're being honest, who was going to end up taking the victory. And yeah, Modesto Mena in the end doing a better job than under everyone else. Andrei Tarabuk in second place, Jan Haladej in the end in third place. We spoke about those who were unlucky, as in, possibly had their own incidents, but you got the likes of Tom Manley having that accident at Singapore. Definitely a fast driver. What could he have done? Others as well, perhaps involved in other people's incidents. And you never know. It is a cruel sport at times, motor racing. But at the end of it, after what was 17 races tonight, I believe, it is Modesto Mena who takes the victory. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thanks to Josh for joining me in the commentary box. Make sure to check him out on Twitter at Joshua Davis24_. You can check out myself as well at Luke Etheridge95. Make sure also check out the FES Twitter. Links to their socials in the description. And of course, thanks to our sponsors, Playseat, Cooler Master, Unibet, and everyone else involved here at FES. And of course, thanks so much to the drivers and all you guys at home for watching. But for myself and Josh, take care of yourselves. Enjoy the weekend. And we'll see you again soon.